Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're all doing well. Sorry for the delay, but we're here. We're going to be taking a look at the patch notes tonight, and that's all we're going to be doing is a big patch note review, but it'll probably take a while because the patch notes are colossal. So this is patch 5.1, massive multiplayer patch, a ton of stuff that we've been asking for a long time, including the addition of new maps to pretty much all the game modes. We have new domination maps, which are the community-made maps, which I'm super excited about. We've been working with CA for, God, I don't know, it's been forever to get those maps added, and it looks like it's finally happened, so that's very, very hype. Anyway, sorry, I just finished making a French onion soup. It was really good, but I just power ate super fast so I could get here in time. But yeah, we're going to slow roll this. We're going to take a look at all the patch notes, take it easy, and try not to miss things, because I have a really, really bad habit of blazing through patch notes and missing important things. So we're going to try. Sorry, just it'll be cleared up here in a minute. Evan, thank you for being a member for 59 months, man. How you guys doing, by the way? So yeah, this is a culmination of a lot of stuff we were working on, getting the maps added, a ton of balance changes that the community has been giving to Creative Assembly. So it's definitely, I've taken a cursory look at the patch notes. I kind of skimmed through them a couple times, and overall, very exciting stuff. Really, there's just maybe one or two things that probably need to be checked out. I think the Wood Elves, the Swift Shiver Shards, a few other things might be a little bit too much, but overall, I mean, huge win for us, and huge win for CA2 in regards to multiplayer. It's huge. It's thick, dude. Extremely thick. So we're going to go through all the patch notes, take a look at everything that's multiplayer related. If there's campaign stuff, we'll skip over that. I'm sure there's people who do campaign stuff well. And maybe at the very end of the stream, we can go and do a little tier list or something like that. We'll have to see. All right. Dedicated servers? No, that's the one thing we didn't get. Yeah. It's the one thing we didn't get. All right, so this is the Hound of Vengeance. This is Corn's little pet doggo. It's Corn's evil chihuahua with 3 heads. You can see there's 3 of those, the Cerberus. So, taking a look at his abilities, the Prey of the Blood God ability. So this is an activated ability, so it's not something that's going to be passive. Oftentimes, activated abilities need to be pretty damn good. So with the odor of his victim thick in his nostrils, Karenek's prey draws closer. Okay. This ability nets a lord or hero character to prevent their movement while dealing a decent chunk of direct damage. Okay, that is insanely good. Insanely good. One sec, guys. Oh god, got something in my eye. This is insanely powerful, though. Essentially, you're playing against the Empire. You know, they're always going to have a low tier wizard, and now that you cannot unsummon your lords in domination anymore, this is going to become even better, right? I don't know about the range of it, but it basically just sounds like Effigy of the Git, like what Wurzag has. And it'll probably honestly be identical. It's going to deal a little bit of damage and snare something in place. Insanely good. Really, really good. Spirit Leech plus character net, what's not to love? I know, it's like we were just talking about how in order for activated abilities to be good, it needs to be direct damage, it needs to be a snare, and it's literally both of those. The duration, we'll see. A lot of the nets that CA has been doing recently, like if you look at the Chaos Dwarves, the Sadistic Snare that you see on Zaytan, they're very close range, but honestly, this dog is probably going to be 90 movement speed, so even if it is really close range, that's going to be very, very powerful. Oh my god. Karenek's Howl can summon a unit of Fleshhounds to the battlefield, so that's his second ability. These are this is the Hall of Fame for extremely powerful abilities, right? You have a net, you have direct damage, and then you have a summon. It's pretty nuts, and I suspect his price tag is going to be extremely high. The Taco Bell dog is back. He's back from the hells of the 1990s. Here to cause havoc and rain and, blood for the blood god and all that. But yeah, insanely good. I mean, Fleshhounds are a very powerful unit. And what's really good about this is any faction that has formation-based shooting, right? So let's say they have a stalwart front line, and then behind that they have handguns, whatever. You're going to be able to run Karenek up to the front line. And he's going to be able to drop Fleshhounds right behind their front line immediately onto artillery. And he's probably going to be a smallish target. He'll be monster size, but he'll be, with good micro, Karenek is, depending on his price tag, is going to be extremely good. I mean, this is very, very powerful. Very powerful. So, Talons of the Skull Throne. This is a passive ability. So Karenek's kills are Quicksilver Perfection. Okay, so this is the lore tidbit. When enemy units nearby are routing, his melee attack and weapon strength is boosted, turning him... Okay, so We've seen this ability before. We see it with Nurgle, with Tears of Nurgle. Slaanesh has this. When units are routing near them, they do like Mortis Engine effects or get different buffs. Soul Scent. All that kind of stuff like that. I bet he's like 2,400 gold. Do you think he's that expensive? Could be. Yeah, could be close to 2,000 gold. I mean, with a summon and a snare, that's pretty insane. Like, if he's not, really pricey, it's going to be very good. But, yeah, this is okay. This is something that you'll probably see cut. There's a lot of matchups like Chaos and Demons and Undead who don't route. I guess if they're wavering, let's see. So if they're routing, okay, so they have to be routing. I wonder if that triggers on wavering, like if Undead are crumbling near him. And it looks like it's like a temporary thing. It doesn't, as far as I'm reading it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a perpetual buff. It seems like something that he'll be buffed like temporarily while they're there, like 8 melee attack or whatever, right? Yeah. But overall, I mean, he has many of the fundamentals that you need to be a really, really good character. He's got a net, he's got a snare, he's got a summon. All he's missing is healing, and then we're the full Monty. So next up, let's see, he has the Endless Hunter. So Karanek makes it extremely difficult for units to take advantage of their hide, forest, stalk, and unspottable attribute. Oh, okay, so he probably has like a radius of like 100 meters or something like that, where he reveals stealth units. Not super relevant, but let's see. I guess if you're playing against like Skaven, Death Runners, Eshin Triads, things like that, maybe he's going to be able to catch some of those guys, but overall, it shouldn't be too nuts. It shouldn't be too nuts. All right. One sec, guys. Let me just grab some water real quick. All right. So items, and he has an item as well, the Brass Collar of Bloody Vengeance. Thicker and heavier than those in his pack. His collar, okay, blah, blah, blah. It's lore. This passive ability can prevent his prey from using active abilities and casting spells. This is really good. This is really good. I mean, I can see some micro god, somebody who's like some dark wizard or micro, someone like Void Laws or whatever, to just stick on your caster. Like, if you have a big monstrous caster character, let's say like a Kugath, this could be the most devastating aspect of him, right? So let's say your opponent has Kugath, right? He's 28 speed. He's waddling around, and you just keep Karanak just out of reach of Kugath. Like, within like 35, 50, 100 meters, whatever the ability radius of this is. And Kugath isn't going to be able to cast Fleshy Abundance. You could do this to Festus. You could do this to any of those slow characters that really, really don't have, can't catch the dog. So this is like a this is like a true Chihuahua play, right? If any of you guys have ever encountered like a Chihuahua before, they usually will bark at you when you approach them to either pet them or like try and get to know them. They'll like run away and then keep barking at you like 10 meters away, right? Like very close. They keep that annoying aura going like nonstop around you with the barking, but you can never get close enough to like solve the problem. The Chihuahua is always like really guarded, backing away, barking. It's just like that. So that's really, really cool. I think Karanek, I mean, depending on his price tag, he could be very competitive. Very good. Do we think he'll have a bonus for his large? I think he'll be a generalist because he has tools. Like in the lore, he's clearly designed to hunt characters and lords. So, I mean, and I think he'll be a generalist. I don't think he'll have anti-infantry or anti-large, but we'll see. God damn, dude. I feasted way too fast. All right, so this is Conquest mode. This is very exciting too. I mean, this is the next thing in the patch notes. This is a new game mode that Creative Assembly's been working on. So shout out to Gojira and Umais, basically the originators of this game mode, right? And this is land battle with capture points, which is really good because even though tournament land battle and structured land battle play can be great, with a good, admin and good control over the event, quick battle is not. You get draw kited, you get corner campers, you get the dregs of the world, right? But now there's a capture point. So you're going to be able to move up, take the capture point. And if that dwarf player wants to sit in the corner and not engage you, they're going to lose the game. So it's really, really good. I think it's going to be great. And yeah, it's very fun. I think this is a great addition. Gojira, Lord of all the hot dogs. Curtis, I'm truly looking forward to this update coming tomorrow. Me too. By the way, we're also going to be having a tournament tomorrow morning. So tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be having a huge event showcasing all this. I still think you got to keep in mind any caster going into Khorne is going to be trying. Yeah, Yeah, so Khorne also got a big buff to their magic resistance, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. All right. So yeah, it's not conquest mode isn't going to be replacing land battle and campaign. This is like specifically a new multiplayer competitive system. I actually do plan on running some tournaments with conquest mode. I think it's really, really cool. And I think it has the potential to be a really good middle ground between domination and land battle, which hopefully will be something that both sides can enjoy, and we can maybe come together and have some cool common ground events. I think that'd be really, really fun. So, yes. And one last thing, the dog does remove magical attacks, which is pretty good with demons. So like you could have Karanak running with like Exalted Bloodletters, and your opponent's magic damage is going to be mitigated against them because he removes their ability to do magic damage. So one last thing to mention. I know, didn't they call corner campers degenerate somewhere in these patch notes? I love that so much. That's so freaking funny. But yeah, very excited for this. So the objectives will open after 1 minute, which is fine. That's going to give both players time to get there. 500 victory tickets, and they generate 1 victory ticket per second, much like domination mode. So yeah, I mean, somebody has to hold it for a good amount of time. And army losses has been applied to this. So in the modded version of conquest mode, there was not army losses, but now we have it, which is great. It's like 1 point domination, but it's more about the fighting. Domination is more macro focused about playing multiple objectives, planning ahead, having your call-ins be planned as well. Whereas this is still going to be more of a micro battle, more akin to land battle, but it's just going to remove some of the degenerate stuff that you run into, in the words of CA. Yibby, thank you for the donation, man. Hey, it's Turin. Let's see, Total Warhammer 3 with... I have no idea what any of those are, but thank you, man. Thank you. No summons either. Thank you for donating, though. I do appreciate it, bud. So we've implemented this game mode to create a more competitive multiplayer-friendly version of land battle, which is great. Because, this patch is so awesome because many of the gateway problems into multiplayer have been solved in some ways. We'll see. But I think so. If you look at like domination mode, most people don't know about Total Tavern or the competitive scene or various, discords, right? But the gateway to domination mode was absolute trash prior to this patch. The maps were terrible. So you go in, you play these boxy maps where you can barely fit your army. It's terrible, right? But now we have new maps. They've gotten rid of the bad maps and added in good ones. So the gateway to domination is really good now. And they got rid of Lord Unsummoning and these different things, which is really good. And, the same was said for land battle, right? Like, I had friends who I tried to get into Total War Warhammer competitive not competitive, but multiplayer over the years, right? And these are guys that, weren't necessarily playing in Discord events, but they just wanted to like, okay, I'm going to go on, play some Warhammer 2 quick battles. They would get draw-kited. They'd face these really, just annoying corner camping strategies, people camping in the woods, and they would get turned off the game. But now we see the gateway to both domination and land battle being massively improved, which is very, very good. So I'm super happy about that. All right, so we implemented this game mode to do a friendly version of land battle. Classic land battle, as it is plagued by several degenerate strategies. Nice. Calling them out. The dreaded ladder cheesers. I actually played a land battle a couple days ago, and I did get draw-kited, so this is just perfect timing. Oh god, Anakin, I'm too weak. I definitely overate. I'm like the Ogre Kingdoms right now. All right. So, yeah, you get the idea. As in land battle, army losses is now enabled. That was the one thing the mod didn't have. So previously, we did not have army losses for this mod, which is great. And here you can see the maps. So it looks like there's 42 repurposed. That's a ton of maps. So these are all like land battle maps that have been repurposed with a capture point. And I see some really good ones, like sort of Torgald, Shimmersword, Schwarzhofen, River Amazon, Prague, Plains of the Dead. I feel like I'm, in a time capsule looking back at Warhammer 2 competitive. So, yeah, seem to have an Nurgling in your throat. I'm good now. I'm good. I just like it. Sometimes if you eat too fast, you kind of get like a little congested, and I was like powering it to make it to the stream on time. So, yeah, we're good now though, boss. So these maps will be in quick battle at launch, which is going to be tomorrow. Special thanks to Yimais, Gojira, Alfare, all the boys who contributed and made this mod super awesome. And, if this works going forward, like if people like this, that could be a really big step going forward in future Total War games, right? I think that's really big. Domination mode is very good. This could be good as well. And we'll see. We'll see what's going to be working. On the final note, we're going to be... So here's the thing. Classic land battle is going to be eventually taken out of the quick battle rotation. Which, you know, a bit of a controversial point for a lot of traditional Total War players, for sure. But, yeah, personally, it doesn't bother me. I'm obviously more focused on domination mode. I do think that it's a better gateway experience to have, like, a more centralized multiplayer, you know, rather than have, like, 15 game modes. So having, like, land battle with capture points, which is, like, a more fair land battle that doesn't need player-made rules, potentially... in tandem with domination mode, which is like a more macro-focused RTS style game mode, I think is good. Draw kiters and corner campers and shambles. But yeah, they will eventually be removing the standard land battles from the quick battle. So yeah, I think it's fine. Turin, so much of your hard work is paying off. Dude, so we've been talking to Creative Assembly for like a good year about getting those maps added. We created a Discord with them. We got the map makers in there, working with them, you know, sending the files, communicating to an extent, you know, to the best of our abilities. And we finally got it. I couldn't like talk about it, obviously, but like, yeah, it's really cool that we're getting these maps added. That to me is like the big win. And I do love like now I'm going to be doing quick battle streams because we have good maps, you know. I'll go on, we do a domination stream. We're going to get Border Low Landing. We're going to get, you know, Celestial Lake. We're going to get all these dank maps, right? It's very exciting. Yeah, super fun. Also a big step in terms of community interaction. Absolutely. Somebody in chat says land battles with caps solves all the annoyances that makes land battles such a gamble on ladder. Yeah, exactly. So now it's going to be way more fun to play on ladder for sure. So that's conquest mode. Yeah. Oh, this is also a really nice change. So check this out. If you're a new player, let's say you're just brand new. Did I miss a shout out or something? Did they say something? Oh shit. Oh, I didn't see this. Okay. Alongside with the introduced conquest mode, we've taken some time to make some improvements to domination mode as well. Special thanks as ever to Turin and the Total Tavern community for being guiding hands on this. Hey, right on. Cool, man. Cool. Shout out to our crew, man. We did it. All the homies who hang out, play in our tournaments, give feedback. We did it. We got it, baby. We got it. So this is a big change. I think this is really good. You can play against AI in domination now. Now, AI is going to be terrible for sure, but at least it's functional. And if you're a brand new player, you can get in and get used to the fundamentals of domination mode while, you know, not necessarily having to have somebody to play against. So I think that's really cool. I like that. And this is my, I know there's some people who disagree with me on this one, but this is probably the thing that makes me almost the most erect in this patch. Your lords must remain on the field and will only return to the reinforcement pool once they've been routed or defeated. So no more bullshit ass lord unsummoning. I hate that. You know, you work so hard to get somebody's lord down to like, you know, 10%, and it runs away and unsummons, and then there's no penalty for the lord fleeing the battlefield, right? Oh god, this just makes me so erect. This makes me so erect. Oh god, I love it. So lords cannot be unsummoned anymore in domination mode. Sure, some people are going to, you know, bring a 400, 500 cost caster lord and hide it in the bushes. Good on you, dude. You can do that if you want to. You can do that in land battle too. There's no problem. But now, if you want to have a lord that's actually impactful and functional in like the state of the battle, you're gonna have to play smart. You can't be as sloppy with your lords. Yeah, so that's very exciting. It's very exciting. Balthazar unsummoners and shambles. I know. Can you withdraw your lord? The lord has to route off the battlefield or be killed to resummon, which is fine. Yeah, lords with regen going to be way more viable. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think most lords will still be very good. Like lord unsummoning didn't take place that often. I mean, it happens in about 20% of games, I would say, give or take. Yeah, this is a very high patch. So you fixed the bug where single entities weren't providing capture weight if they were surrounded. That's interesting. It's great to see. We fixed the bug where the reinforcement window would always spawn. Oh my god, this was like number one. So we did a little poll in our Discord like a couple weeks ago when we were providing feedback to this update, and one of the number one things people said was the reinforcement panel like blocking your army list and like covering your lord up. Dude, it's so bad. I wonder if you can use the withdraw button to get them back. Withdraw button. I don't think you can. No. Yeah. Off with the unsummoning degenerates. I know. They're the worst. Seriously. And capture weight is now displayed on the unit panel. Great stuff. There's so many things in this patch are so solid for newer players. Getting newer players involved. Ease of access. It's just, it's awesome. It's awesome. No more unsummoning the the Lord on accident for me. I know it's a big buff to my playstyle. I've unsummoned my Lord once or twice on accident. All right, so this is a huge win for the community here. We managed to get a handful of our maps added to the base game. So this is freaking huge. So shout out to the map makers. They did the heavy lifting, creating these awesome maps. So now when you go to queue for domination mode, you're going to be playing on awesome, awesome maps created by our community, our domination community here. This is fat. This is thick. I'm so excited for this. So we have Borderlow Landing by Bob the Builder, Celestial Lake by Sunshine, Gates of Ekron by Shroom, Glade of the Everqueen by Wacka Wacka 3000. Shout out to Wacka, by the way. He was really one of the spearheads of the map making. He came in and really kind of was helping a lot of other map makers create maps. He was like one of the pioneers, I dare say. So that's really good. And then Road to Talipine by Sleepy Lion. Some of my favorite tournament maps, honestly. These are great little maps. You can see they updated the avatars. Hopefully, my one hope, I'm a little nervous, is I hope CA didn't change these maps too much, because I know they did like a run over, like they took a run at them of sorts. So I'm hoping that the maps are just as they were in Total Tavern. I don't mind like aesthetic changes, but functionally from a competitive standpoint, I hope they didn't change too much. But that's really, really big. That's really big. All right, yeah. Wacko is like the Dark Lord of teaching folks how to make map. Cap weight stat is great too, because now we can ask. yeah, it's a good change. So we've added 4 of our own maps to the domination map pool as well. So CA also added some new maps. The most low effort being Crossroads. So I mean, Crossroads is fun. It's a gimmick map. I would never use it in tournaments, but it'll still be fun. We have the Hidden Oasis, Marbad's Tomb. I love this map in Warhammer 1. I thought that was so fun. And Toothgrass Hill is also a very good map in Line Battle. And Hidden Oasis. So yeah, Crossroads would be like a meme map. You get that. You just play Artillery Hammer, and just have a good time. But overall, I mean, yeah, I've yet to test these. We didn't get any sort of an early look at this update, so we'll find out. I think it's going to be good. So here we can see we've kept the rotation fairly limited this time around to allow community maps to shine, which is cool. So these are going to be the maps in the pool. They got rid of the really trash maps, and that was something that we were, really, really like, please get rid of these maps. Please get rid of these terrible maps, like the the Galleon's Cove, which is awful, and then there was the Wood Elf map. I forget what it was called. It was so bad. But overall, yeah, we have Arnheim, which is a playable map. It's a great map. Black Ark is fine. Borderlow Landing, amazing. Broken Lake Gully is one of the CA maps from the olden days that is playable, so I honestly wouldn't have any issues loading in and playing that map. Death Pass is playable. Ekron is a great map. Glade is a top-tier map, and so is Road to Talipine. So honestly, every single map that is now in the domination rotation, I would say is like highly playable and very fun. Yeah. Silver Spire, thank you, Wacka. Hey, he's here, the man. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. This is going to be the rotation. The only ones I might argue replacing with community maps would be probably Broken Lake Gully and Death's Pass. If we could just replace those with some more of our community maps, that would be God tier. Yeah. I hate Grove of Slaughter. I hate that map. I don't know. Grove of Slaughter is gone. Yeah, I hate that map. I did not like that one. That one is bad. And No More Mountains and Morn. God, that map's awful. It's 50 little choke points. You want to have a field battle in Total War. You don't want to have Total War is in a skirmish game. You want an army clashing. I mean, there's a skirmishing phase, but this is also a big win. Demons of Chaos are now available in quick battles, so that's pretty fat. I'm very excited for that. I don't know why they weren't. It's kind of a weird thing, but yeah, Death Pass is okay. Did they change it? No, I'll have to give it a try. Free-for-all mode changes. Okay, you can play free-for-all against AI. Oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, why not? Dom Ladder might actually be playable. We're going to have some streams this week. And we're going to do reviving the ladder stream, where we're all going to get in and get a bunch of people to queue for the quick battle stream and, give it a try and have some fun. So yeah, that'll be a great time. Battle UI updates. So when adding units to the army in any battle mode, the ordering of how those units are added to the army will now be consistent with the behavior found in Warhammer 2. Units are ordered first in category, then on gold descending. This should provide players a more visual link to how they are ordered in the unit roster. Okay. Minor change. Oh, look at this. Did we get the dreaded army painter? Oh, yeah. Gone is the spinning faction icons with arrows next to it. We've implemented a robust dropdown that allows players to preview a faction's flag, name, and banner colors. Factions have also been reordered based on what faction the player is. Okay, that's actually really cool. It's kind of like a mini, like you can see the tones. I like that. That's really cool. I mean, it's a small thing, but it's just a quality of life thing, which is great. So yeah, I like that. That's really fun. We got the Walmart Army Painter, but dude, I'll take it. So sandbox difficulty mode. So sandbox difficulty mode is a new difficulty setting for custom battles that allows players to turn the AI off. This is perfect for learning the game. Oh, wow. This is really cool too. I didn't see this. So this is, you can make it so the AI on sandbox difficulty will have its features such as melee and fire at will. So you'll get, this is like for testing. So you can put it on sandbox mode so they'll just stay still and you can actually test things. They won't move or activate spells or abilities. This is really nice for testing things out. If you just want to get in by yourself, you don't have a buddy online or something, you want to test out vortex spells, magic. This is colossal. This is colossal. I'm so excited for this. This is very exciting. Next thing, this is fun for casual play. If you want to do like lord friendly battles, you know, you could do like a huge army size with a couple lords just to like represent like an apocalyptic battle. You can allow multiple lords in. So yeah, I think that's a fun change. Nothing like too avant-garde or crazy or anything like that. But yeah, it's all good. So custom map display. We've slightly refreshed the way custom battle map selection looks. Maps authored by Creative Assembly will feature a CA icon to their name, and community maps will feature a CA/modded hybrid icon. Oh, that's cool. Shout out to the map makers. Yeah, you can see there's like a little wrench right there. That's cool. So even more shout outs to the boys. Lords only tournament. Yeah. Yeah, Fury's got nerfed. I'm telling you, they hit most of the problematic things. There's only like one or two things I saw that were, we'll get into it later. So unit panel and stat breakdown. Quality of life we want to do for a while. In battles, mousing over your units will display a breakdown of the factors currently affecting them. So if you want to see what's happening to your unit's melee attack, you can now check. We've also placed capture weight onto the panel when hovering the unit size icon. So you can check the capture weight of your units. This is a question I answer all the time on my streams. Well, like, what's the capture weight of infantry and monsters? How much capture weight does my Screaming Skull Catapult have if it makes its way up to the objective somehow, right? These are all things that are quite good. Quite good. All right, so overcast toggle button. Overcasting has been a feature present in game 1, but has always been a bit fiddly to use. Now we have an overcast toggle button that toggles the overcast state for every spell in the spell wheel. Oh, that's kind of cool. So if you're using like Lord of the Hag, for example, which has like duality on their spells, when you overcast it or non-overcast it, they do different things. You can just toggle it now with this little arrow. If you see this icon right here, that will allow you to permanently toggle overcasted. So this is good for some things. Like oftentimes there are some spells that are always overcasted, so that's nice. You can also see new UI for when your unit has been silenced. Obviously, this is in preparation for Karanak. So when you're silenced by anything, there are a couple of different ways to silence things in the game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you're going to get a little icon here that silences your spell. So yeah, man, I never thought they would do any kind of an update. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. They did a lot, and I'm very grateful for it. This is very, very exciting. All right, so healing tooltips. So the healing tooltip we improved in Thrones of Decay has been further improved. The healing value is now displayed at 2 decimal spaces. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So you can see 5.8 HP per second. You can see the amount of HP per second that something is being healed. The incoming heal modifier now adjusts to account for being recently hit by a flaming attack, which halves the modifier. Okay. So you can also see not only how much you heal per second, but you're also able to see if there's any modifiers on your healing. So for example, if your unit is on fire, you're going to be seeing the healing modifier, and that will probably adjust the regeneration rate, which is great. Yeah. Cool. Heading down, the stat healing power has also been renamed to incoming healing modifier to better reflect what the mechanic does. The tooltip has also been rewritten. Yeah, the default healing rate is 100%, modifying that. Okay, for example, 200% doubles the effectiveness of healing. Flaming attacks will half the effectiveness of the healing. Yeah, you can see it's just kind of going into more detail here. More detailed tooltips for vortexes and projectiles. So you can see they've been kind of tuned up a little bit. So ability tooltips for magic missiles that spawn a vortex or use the shrapnel feature now correctly display the information about that particular vortex and or shrapnel. So just quality of life change, nothing like staggering there. On top of that, the missile weapon stat breakdown in the unit panel takes into account vortex and shrapnel projectiles. So you're basically just getting more detailed information, which is always a good thing. It's always a good thing. So you can kind of check all that out. Directional shield tooltip. So this is much like we saw with the steam tank. The directional shield attribute now has a new tooltip. When hovering over the shield icon of the unit, So this was implemented with the Steam Tank. You could see its frontal armor, its side armor, and its back armor. I believe it has been added to pretty much everything now. It probably has. Yeah, the attribute itself also has a separate tooltip. Okay, the missile block chance multiplier of each direction is ×1 to the front, ×5 on the sides, and 0.1 to the rear. Okay, very cool. So it's just more detailed information on missile block chance. Very neat. Any idea who the new legendary lords will be? I have no idea, dude. I got nothing. I got nothing. So stability and performance stuff, we're not going to mess with this. This is all campaign, campaign unga bunga here, so we're probably going to skip that. This is all campaign general updates. I'm pretty sure, yeah, monster pen recruitment. Now for battles, there might be something relevant here, so let's just kind of scan this together here real quick. Change reinforcement pop up in battle to open up. Yeah, so this is the same change we read earlier. Fix broken rendering caused by several characters like Scarbrand, Lord of Change, so I guess there were some rendering issues. Yeah, fix floating volcanoes. Lords can no longer be teleport withdrawn in domination mode. We saw that earlier. And apparently the Marquis of Masochism wasn't receiving its Feasting on Fears ability, but that's campaign and battle. Okay, so that the ROR Slanesh monster was actually bugged. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple things here, but this will probably be addressed a little bit later on. Okay, so down to multiplayer. So fix game mode checkboxes and ranks not being grayed out while searching for a match. So while in matchmaking, if a timer runs out and a player didn't select the Lord, the cheapest Lord with default upgrades will now be selected. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So like if somebody like is AFK, it's just gonna like force it to start, I guess? Huh. So if somebody runs out of time in multiplayer selection, it just gives you like the cheapest default Lord possible. That's really strange. Did I miss the capture point rework? Let me go up and check that. Capture points have been reworked to more broadly consider all entities within their bounds. This will specifically help how reliable single entities such as Lords can capture points in domination and sieges. Okay, I read the last line of it when I was skimming it. I didn't see that applies to domination too. So the capture points are going to be more clear, I suppose. And yeah, just more optimized, which is cool. Graphics. We saw in multiplayer, yeah, and added a skirmish versus AI in multiplayer battles that will allow you to add multiple Lord units to the army. We saw that earlier. Graphics, fix some missing images when playing in languages. Okay, yeah, so that's just basic stuff. We don't care about audio. This is just some UI nonsense that doesn't really have any effects on multiplayer here. And now we have unit abilities. So Spirit Conduit, the range has been increased to 100 meters. Number of affected friendly units. Spirit Conduit. Is that a vampire count thing? Shit, I don't know what that is. Does anybody off the top of their head know what that is? I used to be an encyclopedia, but I guess I'm a little rusty, but huh. Effect range from 0 to 100. Number of affected friendly units. I have a feeling that's like a vampire count thing. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. We'll get back to that. Burning alignment. So this is a buff to the Bastillodon, which is very exciting. The solar engine, not Bastillodon, the Stegodon with the solar engine. The radius is 8. Spirit Conduit increased WOM gains the 20% thing. Can the Lord thing be cheese? Like just max out points on an army so you get the Walmart Lord for free? No, because then it cuts units from the rest of your army. Yeah. Yeah, it can't be cheesed. So burning alignment, it's wider radius. It stays wide the whole time and it moves faster. This is actually really good. This is, it's the Iro Titan's passive. Oh. Okay. That's kind of cool. Little Iro Titan buff. Yeah. I'll take it. Iro Titan's coming, baby. All right. We'll see. So burning alignment has been buffed. So that's the solar engine, which is really fun. I'm really excited to try the dreaded solar engine net. So you use a net of Ammontok with the solar engine. You just like roast something. It's super fun. Language of the Boys has had its duration time reduced by, is that just effect duration 16 to -1? Are they trying to say subtracting 1 from its duration? That's a weird one. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. Has a fat chat delay. Yeah, it's not too fat. We're still going through it. Miss Walker's Barrage, the spread. Did they just nerf Eltharion? It's just like it's just like it doesn't spread at all now? Yeah. No, so the spread is 10 to like what is this articulating? I'm a bit of an unga bunga here. Solar engine is on the Bastillodon? Yeah, I'm thinking of the burning alignment is on the Stegodon with the engine of the gods. That's what we were talking about there. Means infinite. Okay, got it. So language of Du Bois. Okay, that's what they're trying to say. -1 is constant for infinite. Got it. Thank you. Okay. So language of Du Bois is permanent. That's actually really good. That's a nice little buff for some greenskin action. Yeah, it's a buff. Great. Miss Walker's barrage spread is changed here. They rebuffed his nerf. Got it. Got it. Okay. So they buffed Eltharion back to how he was. Spread to 0 is a buff. Spread is as in how tight the barrage is. Got it. So it's going to be like very impactful in one area around him. He got buffed back to how he was pre-nerf. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. So Eltharion buff's awesome. I'm very, like, it was really sad that like High Elf Carl Franz got a cool buff and then he just got nerfed immediately. But yeah, if that is indeed what it is and he got put back to how he was, that's great. Fanatical Resolve. So this is Draika. And yeah, you could see just minor changes to the values. Nothing too crazy here. Yeah, should be good. Giver of Arcane Glory. Man, these are like, these. It's so funny. I don't know a lot of these abilities because they're just so like niche and weird. So like you don't see them ever. Mana regeneration modifier has gone to 0.2 to 1. Oh, wow. Okay. That's substantial. Max mana depletion modifier. Okay, yeah, it's 0.2 up to 1%. Yeah, we'll take it. The language of Du Bois is actually wild. 5 MD, 4 leadership, and ITP in a constant area. Yeah, it's pretty good. So this is a really good change, especially for land battle. Spirit Bearer on Mother Ostankia is now limited to 3 charges. It's not infinite anymore. It was such bullshit before. Dire Spirit Bearer, so it's limited to 3 basically. Lamprey's Bite is okay. Lamprey's Bite is the ability on the if I'm not mistaken, on the flying the Zinch ROR Screamers, and it used to be infinite, but now it's limited to 5 charges, which is again another great change for land battle. That's and also for Dom, it's good too. Yeah, the Giver of Arcane Glory is a Zinch Shrine. Yeah, that's a big mana regen change. That's good. The Giver will give you more magic in a short term, but drain your all. Yeah, we'll have to see. We will have to see. Pigeon Bomb's also getting limited. That's huge, and it got a nerf to its range. That having that be infinite was really overpowered also, so that's a great nerf to the Steam Tank. Full power. So removed values 3 to 2 and 2 to 1.5. Okay. So there's slight nerfs to that. Fire bombs, effective range, so it's very close range now. I actually am not sure what ability this is off the top of my head. Do you guys know what the fire bomb is? Who's asking for? I don't. A lot of these changes are very niche, things that I never even thought of, which you know seems good. Fire. Who does fire bombs? Is that the? We're not talking about bomber mobs from Vampire Coast, are we? It's yeah, it must be something else. I'm waiting to see if any of you guys have any ideas what that is, the firebombs thing. So short range, base reload time. I think it's talking about the Deccan mobs. It has to be, right? No, is it the Huntsman General? Oh, it's the Huntsman General probably. It's that little like napalm thing he throws. Or is it Malachi? Malachi has like a hand grenade too. It might be, it's one of those weird niche abilities. It's a campaign thing? Okay. Yeah, but regardless, it looks like just, you know, retuning of that ability. That's the oil flask? Yeah, I think it's the oil flask on the Huntsman. Yeah. Anyways, we'll keep moving on here. So this is an interesting nerf to all the cultists. Initial recharge time. So the amount of time to summon Nurgle cultists, to charge it up, is up to 60 seconds. That's a big nerf. That's actually, that's a very, very big nerf. And then the Gates of Slaanesh now is up to 60 seconds. Greater Gate of Nurgle, okay, that's campaign. Greater Gate of Slaanesh. Okay, so it's only the Nurgle one has been nerfed and the Slaanesh one. The other ones have been left alone, it looks like. The Corn Cultists and all that stuff. It could be the Gunnery White. I have no idea. Yeah. All right, so Blessing of the Ancients. It's a spell mastery thing. Looks like a modified its value, I guess. Okay. Rune of Hearth and Home. Fatigue modifier 0.05 to 0.03. All right. So slight changes to some of the runes, which is weird. These are like really strange changes, these ones. It's like very nitty gritty stuff. Demon Summons got bullied, absolute. The Gate really deserved the nerfs. Oh, they're pretty good. I don't think they needed nerfs though, but if they got buffs in other areas, maybe. And they could also be preparing for future updates because Slaanesh and Khorne are going to get like updates, and maybe they're just trying to make sure they're not like OP in the future. I have no idea. All right. Panamicium? Yeah. Base explosion damage 40 to 45. Armor piercing damage is nerfed, and the radius has been nerfed as well. I actually don't know what that ability is either off the top of my head. All right. So now we get into some good stuff. We have the golden tributes. So that is fatigue modifier is 0 to 0.01. So that is for Nakai's golden tributes. The warp shard armor has had its mortis engine effect increased as well, which is very, very fun. It's like one of the worst mortis engines in the game. It's a campaign thing. Oh, okay, that's Tamarkon's BS bombardment ability. Understood. Campaign ability. Don't worry about it. Sounds good, guys. Pandemiseum. Ah, we got it. Very good. So Warp Shard Armor, 35 to 50. That's a nice little buff for the little gremlins. It's not going to be like game-changing, but we get Queek Headtaker, his Dwarf Gouger. I'm not quite sure. Stat melee damage base, value 1.5. So is this some sort of a buff to this? The way they like type these notes, it's very like, yeah, it's not like, oh, we buffed it by 50% or whatever, but... Oh, Warp Shard Armor, are you sure? Is that Queek's? Is this Queek's armor? That just goes to show you never see Queek. Okay, so correction, guys, sorry. Queek's armor has been buffed the range. Yeah, okay, that's Queek. That's... What the hell is the one called in the Master Engineer? 1 horrible damage on the Sunfang, yeah. So Queek got a little bit of a buff, apparently. The Warp Shard Armor plus his Dwarf Gouger, they both got buffed. 50% extra melee damage, yeah, 1.5, right? That's fat. That's pretty fat. So Queek is going to be potentially a bit more of a murder hobo, and he's got that little debuff aura is better now. Sunfang got 1 more damage. Hell yeah, dude. Tyrion OP. Oh, don't worry, William. When we get into the faction-specific notes, it's going to be more exciting, I'm sure. Windbow has been nerfed. That's I believe that's A-Tanks. Yeah, huge nerfs on that. That thing is pretty bullshit, so it's good that it got nerfed. Loses some base missile damage, explosion, radius, pretty much everything. Portal Glyph, which is the Fury summon that some of the greater demons have, has been nerfed, which is fine. You know, it's all good. No big drama there. Very similar name. Warp Stone Armor and Warp Shard Armor. Okay, got it. So the Brass Collar Bloody Vengeance, 35 to 55. This could be, again, a campaign thing. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Star Crusher. Hey, Kolek! Kolek Star Crusher got buffed, so it does a little bit more damage now. Skull of Catan has had its overall value augment nerf. So that's like the cheesy item that Tzeentch uses to like nail you with the big spell mastery bomb. Yeah. The Mace of Hellstorm, so it's inactivated. Okay. Recharge time is reduced, and all right. I don't know what kind of damage. Okay, I got a damage buff. So the Mace of Hellstorm is the Warrior Priest item. Yeah, that got buffed. Brass Collar's Karen X thing, is it? Okay, that's why I didn't recognize it. Why would they like not just include that? Like, why is that? Was there like a patch in there? He got nerfed even before he came out. It's weird. All right, so these are bound spells. Spirit Leech, number of uses. I'm assuming this is just bound spells. So if you have like, if you're an Iro Titan, you only get number of uses. Oh wait, hold up. You get 2 Spirit Leeches, and then or number of uses. Oh, minus 1 to is that a So Spirit Leech, is this like referring to the Iro Titan, or is this just like the general spell of Spirit Leech being changed? A little bit strange. Well, regardless, Regrowth has had reduction, which is fine. I think nerfing healing is, it's on the Iro Titan, right? Yeah, it has to be the Iro Titan. Yeah, number of uses. That's fine, great. Iro Titan meta, dude. He's coming. And then the Regrowth, the healing nerfs are always good. Fleshy Abundance has been nerfed, Regrowth has been nerfed. I think that's good. It's going to make battles more interesting, in my opinion. So here's some Fleshy Abundance. Yeah, just reductions in duration. I like this is actually some feedback I'd given to CA a long time ago, was to increase the radius buff of Warrior Priests. So now they're up to 55 meters. Yeah, look at that. Base explosion damage of the Grand Soulfire is buff too. Dude, I'm hyped to try some Warrior Priests out. Thematically, they've always been one of my favorite characters. I actually just played an old world game yesterday with Subutai. He came up, and I was able to use a Warrior Priest of Sigmar, a Lector of Sigmar, riding a War Altar of Sigmar, and it was epic. It was super fun. Yeah, that's hype. Grand Shield of Faith is the ward save one, and this is the AoE damage one. We're going to see how that works out. So Regrowth changes, Gaze and Mork. Sniping spell costs a little bit more. Shield of Faith is buffed. Soulfire is buffed. Shem's Burning Gaze. That's the Iro Titan. So the Iro Titan now has 3 charges of Shem's Burning Gaze. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Vindictive Glare wins a magic cost. Cool. So now we get into traits. So adjusted the balance for generic character innate traits with the following changes. So the Hawkland scopes for the hero. Hawkland scopes for your hero. This sounds like this might be some campaign stuff here and there. Now only applies to the character. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so 10%, the Mechanist Sword. Yeah, this is like, you know, Tinker. This is all campaign stuff, it looks like. Yeah, okay. So let's get into the juicy now, shall we? Races and balance. All right, so this is, here's a small list of known issues that we're aware of and be addressing in the future. Okay, so this is like collision, hitbox stuff here. We can kind of jump past that. All right. And special thanks to our exalted creators, as well as Umais and the team behind the community source peer review balance. It's great. Yeah, there's an ongoing balance document that Creative Assembly, I think it's in their official forums. So they must have gotten a lot of the feedback for the document from this. It gets juicier. Oh my god, you guys see the little slider on the left? We're barely scratching the tip of the sausage here. Yeah. All right, complex stat changes. We've added collision attacks to several large units this patch. Collision attacks are an alternate form of melee that is attempted when an entity collides with an enemy while charging or attacking, primarily present on chariots and some large entities. These have internal cooldowns, so it's like a charge impact cooldown, basically, so you know they're not constantly doing it. And yeah, we're gonna have to see. Several units have had their max splash attacks reduced. The general trend is that this is a buff as damage is split up across the targets. Oh, so it's not gonna be as much splash, but like where it does concentrate, it's gonna be a buff because it'll do more damage rather than be spread thin. Okay. So I'm kind of like suspecting that we might be getting like chariot buffs, because chariots, outside of the warbear chariots and war wagons and like shooting chariots, most chariots are just god awful trash. So getting buffs to chariots impact hits would be really cool. Here's next, vehicle collision attacks, turn passing. We've adjusted the collision attack balance on just about every chariot and vehicle unit in the game based on the feedback from the community. Collision attacks are now informed by the unit's weapon strength, which ensures that the unit performing the collision is getting an optimal roll of damage. Okay, so chariot buffs. Let's go, finally. Chariots are like a really high risk, high reward thing, right? Because they get shut down so hard by high mass, like cavalry, SEs, and they require a shit ton of micro. Chariots you can't leave in combat. So I kind of like, chariots have just been awful for a long time. Now I'm nervous. Admittedly, I'm very nervous whenever there's been a history of CA buffing like chariots, pump wagons, whatever. They end up buggy. But yeah, I mean, I hope that, I mean, obviously, yes, chariots already have collision attacks, yes, but we're hoping it's more efficient now with the way they changed it so that they're more focalized. We'll have to see. Canary, yeah, I'm excited. Sirtha Ek, Kazarak on his chariot. I don't know. We'll find out. And this is a siege battle thing. No one cares about that. All right. So scrolling down, we have general. Fix the undivided exalted hero missing the... Oh, undivided exalted hero now has the aura of chaos skill. That's cool. Fix the number of heroes missing scout runes action. Okay, this looks like this is mostly campaign stuff. Yeah, chieftain units. Added missing terror unit attribute to the following ethereal units. Shade Wraith Gunners, Usirian's Legion. The only thing that's really relevant for the campaign or multiplayer would be Shade Wraith Gunners. So they cause terror. So if like a hound gets on your Shade Wraith Gunner and they're a little bit beat up, they might just terror rod off, which is kind of cool. Yeah, very, very neat. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the nitty gritty. This is the stuff I actually care about a lot. This is the multiplayer balance. So Beastman. Gorbel, cost reduction, and a buff. Great. I think Gorbel was underutilized, and I love to see him getting a minor buff. He loses 25 gold, gets a damage buff. Goreherds, this is actually really interesting because Zangors, you're going to get Slangors, Pestigors, are obviously very, very dominant in the Beastman roster. That's typically what you see, but Goreherds have gotten not only a damage buff, but also they now have a bonus for his infantry. We have been joking about that for freaking ages. Did I miss Morngul's here? I don't think so. We'll get to that later. But this is huge because now you have like a cheap alternative if you don't want to go for the marked ones. That's really good. 5 isn't like a crazy bonus for his infantry, but this unit is going to be so much better now. So much better. Bestigor is getting a buff. Honestly, they could have used more, but it's not a big deal. I think if you just take 50 gold off Besties, they'd be in a better spot. They need to be more in like great sword territory for them to be good. Razor Chariots getting a damage buff. Chaos Spawn are cheaper. Awesome. That could definitely, I mean, having Unbreakable, sub 1,000 gold Chaos Spawn, awesome. The funny thing is, the guys, Beastmen are already like a really top tier army in domination mode, so they're going to be like really powerful. But a ton of factions got buffs, so yeah. Minotaurs getting a cost increase, which makes sense. They're very, very optimal compared to the other choices. And Beastmen are getting plenty of reductions, like all these reductions here at the expense of Minotaurs getting a slight cost increase, but it's only 50 gold. Minotaurs are really good, so I think that's fine. Koroks Man Rippers, they are getting a even bigger bonus for Large. They got more AP damage. So yeah, overall, not bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. The Cygor got buffed. Oh, I love Cygors. If I were to ever play Beastmen in tabletop, I'd run as many Cygors as I could, even though I know they're terrible, but yeah, that's fun. So they got a damage increase, base missile damage, explosions better. I mean, just buffs, basically. I could see the Beastmen running the Eye of Morsleep. With these buffs and him having a snare against like Bretonnia, you could like snare down Grail Knights and throw boulders at them and have a big terror-causing monster that has like Regiment of Renown level stats. That feels like it could be good. So next, overall, my thoughts on the Beastmen, we'll go over the overall thoughts of each faction. I think they're fine. I think Beastmen definitely went up a category. I think getting the Chariot buffs in tandem with the Gores being buffed is really nice, but also Minotaurs did get nerfed too, which are a bread and butter of the Beastmen. But overall, I think Beastmen will stay where they are. They're going to be a top 5 faction, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. Happy moves for sure. Nothing bad. I think everything is reasonable with the Beastmen. So Bretonnia got very little. Questing Knights got a minor AP buff. Grail Knights lost a little bit of AP damage, which makes sense. They're a freaking Lance unit. And Grail Guardians got a nerf to their AP as well. So 2 minor nerfs on these units, not going to make a big difference. You're still going to be good, really good. And I like that they're trying to incentivize you to take Questing Knights as well. So overall, Bretonnian changes, I think they're good. I think maybe... I know that the Bretonnian Grail Guardians or Grail Knights are more problematic in land battle, but my lens is mostly going to be domination mode. Overall, I think the changes for Bretonnia are fine. Looks good to me. Chaos Dwarves. All right. So fix the Infernal Castellan skill Inspiring Inferno not applying to the Infernal Guard Fireglaive units. Fix the number of innate traits not functioning for the Demonsmith. Okay, this is campaign stuff. So Zaytan got a cost reduction on his Bale Taurus, which is fine. And his Lamassu, 150. Okay. Lances are historically armor piercing. Yeah, well, I mean, we're playing a game with dragons and wizards and warlocks, bro. I mean, it's, it's a bit of a different beast here. And they still have huge AP values. It's not like they're not. They just got nerfed because they were very strong. So Zaytan the Black has a Lamassu, 150 gold cheaper. I mean, as somebody who plays Chowie, I'm painting Chaos Dwarves in the garage right now. I'm very excited to give some of the other Lords tries. Oh, the Bloodroot Behemoth got 35% spell resist. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, because all Khorne units have 35% spell resist now, I think. We'll check later on, but... So Zaytan on a Lamassu with his Snare might be good in some matchups. Sorcerer Prophet got a cost reduction of his Great Taurus. Not the... Yeah, so 100 gold off that. 100 gold. The Overseer is only 700 base now, which is very cheap. Granted, he's a pretty bad character anyways. Yeah, so cost reductions on all the big mounts. The Lamassus, oh my god. The Overseer on the Lamassu is 350 gold cheaper. Oh, that's... Do you know how cheap a Lamassu Overseer is going to be? So the Overseer's base cost is 700 plus this. If you strip his abilities, he's going to be a dirt cheap combat lord. Yeah. Infernal Castellan had a cost reduction baseline. Bull Centaur Tarek had a baseline reduction. Hobgoblin Archers had a baseline reduction of 25 gold, which is really awesome. Wolf Riders, this was one thing I was really pushing for with Chaos Dwarves. Why the hell are like Hobgoblins like almost 600 gold on their wolves when Kossovite Dervishes for Kislev, which are like unbreakable and better in every way basically, were like 450, right? But this is a great change. The bows are 600, which is fine. That's pretty much the same as the Dervishes on Kislev. And the Wolf Riders also got a cost reduction of 25 gold. Overall, I'm very happy with these changes so far with Chaos Dwarves. A further cost reduction to Chowie Warriors, which is great because they were kind of bad. Yeah, and you can see a slight damage buff on the Great Weapon Warriors. Infernal Guard, not the Ironsworn, but the Infernal Guard are only 950 now, which is cool. I mean, hey, that's going to make them a contender against things like they're kind of like a more They might even be better. No, the Norskin ones still have the Enrage mechanic. But yeah, Infernal Guard at 950 is a steal too. That's really good. And we see some buffs. So cost reduction to Infernal Guard Great Weapons. 150 off of the Infernal Guard Great Weapons. That is really solid. That is really solid. And then we see Infernal Guard Fireglaves getting 50 gold off them. That's my favorite unit on the whole roster, so I'm happy to see that. Granite Guard getting a little buff. Not that they really needed it. They were fine. Lamasu's are 50 gold cheaper. Kadai getting 100 gold off too. That's nice. They maybe could have even used 150, but we'll see. The Kadai Destroyer now has 15% missile resist. Its splash attack profile has been changed like we saw, so it should be a little bit more efficient. The Magma Cannon had a cost reduction. I think Magma Cannons are honestly really good. And it now deals majority AP damage. Okay, the dreaded Chowie might be back on the menu, man. Yeah, Demon's Tongue had a cost increase, which is weird. I mean, it's good, but I don't know if it needed that. And the Dreadquake Mortar has had a cost increase when it's being towed by the Demon's Tongue. Okay. So thoughts overall, I think these changes are awesome. Chaos Dwarves are a low mid-tier faction. Like low mid-tier faction. They were like on the brink of not being great because their entire faction was kind of held together. It's like that Homer Simpson meme. They were held together by the Bale Taurus character, the Sorcerer Prophet on the Great Bale Taurus. So yeah, now I think these are great changes. I think you're incentivized to try some of the other lords, some mount options. You might see Zaytan, you might see the Overseer, probably not. The caster guy's probably still too good, but there's a lot of great changes. The Hobgoblins being cost reduced, the Chorf Warriors. These are really, really good changes. The Elite Chorf Infantry are cheaper. This is definitely going to bump Chorfs up a little bit. This is great. Really, really good changes to the Chaos Dwarves. Awesome stuff. I like all the changes. Yeah, it's great. The only one that's a little weird is the Demon's Tongue. I didn't feel this thing was overpowered at all, but it's probably not going to be used like much anymore. So people probably just use Skullcrackers instead. So Demons of Chaos, now available in Custom Battle. Red Olgor, the Prince of Slaughter. 150 off, dude. Our boy Red Olgor is coming in. Oh, yeah, let's go. So that's 150 cheaper. And he got 10 spell resist. Dude, solid. Because Red Olgor is already actually pretty good. He's got regen. He's got Gore Feast. And now he's cheaper. So this is great. And Chaos Furies have been nerfed across the board, which makes sense. So they got a 50 gold increase. And they lost 600 HP. So I think Furies will be very strong still, but they're going to be more fair now, which is great. So overall, I think the Fury nerf is very tame, which is a better approach than just steamrolling them and making them useless. So yeah, hype stuff. So Dark Elves, this is campaign. Now, this is something I'm also very excited for. We see Malekith getting a cost reduction. I thought the dumbest shit in the world was when Malekith was like literally as good of a fighter as the Sorceress on the Black Dragon, and he costs more too. But now Malekith, he gets a massive cost reduction on his dragon of 350 gold, and he gets a melee attack buff and a melee defense buff. So now Malekith is going to be probably seen more on the dragon because he got a big cost reduction, and on top of that, he got a stat buff. He should be a way better fighter than the Supreme Sorcerers. Lokir got similar treatment. Wow, Lokir is 350 cheaper too. All right, that's a big deal. You're probably still not going to see him compared to the Caster Lords, but hey man, that ain't bad at all. Melee attack buff. Rakarth getting a 250 cost reduction, which is really good. Melee defense, probably still never going to see him in competitive multiplayer, but you know, he's more viable now when you bring him on Brachus. Only 2,200 to recruit a multiplayer, and then you can cut abilities, and he could be pretty damn cheap. Red Olgor is not on the Khorne roster. He's only on the Demons of Chaos. Scourge Runner Chariot amount for Rakarth got a cost reduction, which is cool. Ammo of primary missile weapon has been increased. So they're trying to buff Scourge Runner Chariots. They really fell off in Warhammer 3. But maybe with Chariot buffs, if Chariots are actually good, Scourge Runners could make a comeback because they still have that anti-large shooting, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah, Rakarth got big cost reductions on several of his mounts. The Scourge Runner, all these. Supreme Sorceress got a cost increase, which is good. She should be like a cheaper alternative to a mounted dragon combat character, but it shouldn't be like as good of a fighter as Malekith. And Malekith, with his cost reduction, he's going to be 400 gold more expensive than her, but you're getting a combat character with unique abilities as well. So yeah, that's great news. High Beastmaster got a cost reduction, which is rad. This game with the Scourge Runner mount, the Bloodrack Medusa. So this was This is a big one. The Bloodrack Medusas and the Medusas in general had the same bug that the Soul Grinders had, where they got unintentionally, it's not a bug, where they were unintentionally buffed, basically. And CA even says this. I remember there was people actually arguing like, oh yeah, you know, it's like clearly that, no, they were, so we were seeing them dominate tournaments with the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, and they both got fixed. Apparently. We'll find out tomorrow. So they lost radius on their damage, and their base reload time went up. So I still think Medusas will probably be decent, but they're not going to be busted anymore, where they're getting like 4,000 value. Like the last replay I put up on the channel was that. It was some haggardness. Harganeth Executioners getting a cost reduction down to 1150, and it could have been maybe a little bit more, maybe like 1100 for those guys, but I'm happy to see them get reduced. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to the dwarfs. It's all campaign stuff. So all dwarf infantry units, collision box size of dwarf units has been reduced very slightly, as it was too generous in most cases. This should help with pathing and improved melee combat. Okay, so pathing change for dwarves, which is pretty rad. And Thorgrim Grudgebearer, cost reduction on Ungrim, on Belagar, on Grombrindle. Demon Slayer getting a cost reduction. Lord getting a cost reduction. All the dwarf lords basically just got 100 gold off, which, hey, honestly, that's cool. I hope it encourages more build diversity. I think that's very fun, because dwarves are pretty, you know, they usually just run the same shit over and over. Yeah. All right. Lord here. Yep, cost reduction. The Thane. The Dwarven Thane now has charged defense against large. Oh, that's cool. All Ancestor Spirits have had their... Okay, this is for a campaign. Dwarf Warrior Great Weapons, a minor damage buff. Longbeard's a minor damage buff. Grumbling Guard, minor damage buff. Quarrelers getting a little bit of damage. Not much, but like 1. It adds up over the course of a long game, right? Rangers getting damage. Bugmans, Althars all getting +1 damage, basically. Giant Slayers getting 1 damage. Grudge Rakers losing 5 projectile mass. This change is designed to prevent units from being knocked down by the first shot, resulting in the second shot missing. Oh, this is actually a secret buff. So basically, the projectiles of the Grudge Rakers were knocking units over. So then they were not getting hit by the second ranks volley. Interesting. So now the Grudge Rakers in general should have better DPS. That's pretty cool. Now, this is a huge change right here, the Bolt Throwers. Bolt Throwers now come in groups of 8 models instead of 4. Okay. They've also been retuned slightly to make them a viable counter for monstrous infantry and cavalry units. So they got a slight cost increase, but they basically doubled their damage, right, by adding 4 of them. And the base missile damage has been tuned down a little bit, but even still, this is a net buff. 50 bonus first large on these things? That's big. You're going to see Bolt Throwers for sure on, like, Itza-style maps. The really cost-effective, cheap anti-large. And there's 8 of them. So they're probably going to be more effective. Like, a cannon will probably still, you know, on a big open macro map, like a big map, the cannon might still be optimal. But on medium-sized maps, you might want to whip out the Bolt Throwers, honestly. With 50 BVL on them, that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, I love it. Goblin Hewer getting a cost reduction, which is neat. Organ Guns getting a cost reduction. Great. Gyrocopters. So gyrocopters have been a big problem child of tournaments recently. And they've had their ammunition reduced. They lost, 10 ammo. So we'll see if that is enough. I think it is. I personally didn't have a problem with gyrocopters. A lot of people complained and said they were really oppressive. But I myself, it was fine. Looks good. Gyrocopter Brimstone Guns. These are the ones that don't get used. So they had a cost reduction and they got a little buff. So those are the ones with the flamethrower. So Skyhammer added missing hit points to give seen it a pluralized name. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. All right. So this is interesting. Thunderbarge. The Thunderbarge has had several changes made to its missile weapons in order to slow its damage output a bit. Its ammunition has also been significantly reduced to account for its low rate of depletion. Okay. So it finally cost 3,000 gold, which is good. So it went from 2,400 to 2,800 and now up to 3,000 gold. Ammo, primary missile weapon. Okay, so it lost, instead of having 140 salvos, it now only has 40. The primary missile weapon are the bomb bays on the bottom of the hull. Okay. So the primary missile weapons are the bomb bays that it's dropping and the hull and the 4 mounted cannons. Okay, so this is going to be... Looks like it's going to affect the cannons as well as the bombardments. I don't know. Maybe the Thunderbarge is fine now. We're going to have to test it. So impact damages have been removed from bombs. So the bombs now deal 100% of their damage via the explosion damage. So there's no impact. It's all the explosion damage. All right. So yeah, and you can see the cannons have had a damage reduction. The cannons take twice as long to reload now. Okay. And their minimum range is now 20. I don't know if that's meters or what that is, but probably meters in the game. So now it's not going to be able to shoot things right under, like right next to it or right under it. Okay. I like that. Honestly, all the dwarf changes are cool. No complaints. You know, we saw a flame cannon patch, buff in the last patch. All these changes I think are really awesome for the dwarves. There's nothing to complain about for me here. I might have like maybe taken 5 more ammo off the gyrocopters, these ones, but overall, because you can restock their ammo with dwarves. You could just have an engineer restocking them, but I still think that's fine. I think dwarves will be cool. Thunderbarge is going to be very beatable. I'm excited. We're going to let it run. Tomorrow's tournament, guys, is going to have no restrictions. None. We're going in deep. We're going to see how it goes. So Grand Cathay. Zhao Ming, he definitely deserved a cost increase with his healing. He's pretty busted. So yeah, cost increase is good. Miao Ying getting a cost decrease is good. I think she, was, I wouldn't say, she's kind of fairly priced more or less. But yeah, it's cool to kind of incentivize build diversity. Seitang has had big nerfs. So ammo of his primary weapon, he's lost that. He's lost damage, AP. Seitang is really, really problematic in land battle, I've heard. In Dom, he's very, very strong. Definitely can be cheesy, but yeah, I'm happy to see the Seitang nerfs. I think he needed those. Bandits of the Silver Road, Domination. Oh, okay, so that's kind of a funky little one. The peasant archers for ROR is no longer considered expendable like its other peasant comrades. Oh, because they're like a more elite unit. I think that's kind of fun. I think it's fun. Jade Warriors getting a cost increase. This is something that I think is more of a land battle thing, because I don't know of anybody in Domination mode that called for a cost increase to Jades. The thing is, Jades and Dom aren't as bad because they have to move a lot. You can't just sit in one formation in Dom. You have to like play macro, play the map, play 3 objectives. So it's like they're often out of position or unsupported in late game. But yeah, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it's definitely going to hurt Cathay. I mean, 50 is a lot. 50 is a lot. Jade Warrior Halberds, though, getting a cost reduction is nice. So that might help counterbalance the Jade Warrior cost increase here. Crossbows getting a cost reduction. Longbow Riders getting a cost reduction as well. I think that's fine. Longbow Riders are good, but I don't know if they were like as good as some of the 1350, 1400 gold cav we were seeing around. Yeah, Righteous Lances getting a cost increase, it looks like, and Empress's Crowman, the ROR, getting a cost increase. So overall, Cathay got some interesting stuff. A handful of nerfs actually, probably more land battle focused. I don't think it's going to ruin Cathay as a faction, but having Jade Warriors, their core unit, get cost increase is tough. But it's nice to see the crossbows getting reductions and the halberds. So I think it's all more of a bit of a wash with these guys, right? It's just everything's going to kind of even out. So nothing terribly exciting with Grand Cathay. Now Grimgore. Oh, Adam, yeah, shoot me a message in Discord, Adam, about that. Yeah, that's a subject for Discord. I'll chat with you, bud. My issues are probably very different than yours, but I'd happily chat with you about it. So Grimgore getting a cost decrease is great. Wurzag getting a cost decrease is awesome. Warboss, Warboars. Wow, look at that. The Warboss on the boars. Friggin' 250 cheaper. The Goblin Great Shaman. Oh, man, he got 1,000 hit points. Oh, man, okay. Maybe he's going to make his way back. Look at that. Goblin Warboss on the Cave Squig is cheaper too. Black Orc Boss is cheaper. A lot of character cost reductions. Like you could see the Orcs, the Goblin Big Boss, like they just got cheaper characters across the board. Wait, Spider Hatchlings? Are Spider Hatchlings like a core unit? Because their domination capture weight has been reduced to 2. Summons obviously don't have capture weight, right? But are Spider Hatchlings like a core unit the Greenskins can bring now? Because why would they change their domination capture weight? Aren't they on the extended roster? Huh. It's a funky one. Arachnarok Spider Queen have gotten a damage buff. Rogue Idol, max entities hit by splash damage has been reduced to increase his DPS. Because then he's like doing more hard DPS rather than spreading it out. Apparently, that's what they were saying above. Greenskin changes are fine, honestly. They're a very strong roster. A little bit boring to play in my opinion these days, but cost reductions on some of these alternative lords like Grimgore, like the Arachnarok Spider. I like those changes a lot. Yeah, I guess they gave him expendable. Yeah. There's also cap weight in campaign. Oh, that's what it is, Nurex. So yeah. It's for siege battles. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now we're on the high elves. Tyrion getting a cost reduction, and he now does flaming and magic damage. Hell yeah. It's kind of nice. That's going to make him a better pick against demons, especially with his dreaded Sunfang getting +1 damage. We saw that earlier, huh? Tyrion is cheaper on his mount. Elithanar needed some serious milk. He lost 100 gold, which is cool. He got a lot of damage. Base missile damage up by 23. And AP damage up by 25. Okay. Some sleeper Elithanar increases. Go look at the Goblin Wolf Chariot number increases. Okay. Oh, Goblin Wolf Chariots now have 12 instead of 8. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Goblin Wolf Chariots could for sure be better. Yeah, not doubled, but close. They got an additional 4. Goblin Wolf Chariots, baby. That's nice. I like that. I hope they see some play. But I like the Elithanar buffs. We'll see if it's enough. Hand of the Everqueen is a cost reduced in multiplayer. Lore Master of Hoeth down by 50. Probably still won't see too much play, but maybe with like Tyrion. You could do like a Lore Master of Hoeth Tyrion build and have him with like Earthblood up fighting on the front line and you know, Spirit Leech. I think he has Spirit Leech, right? That could be pretty good. Your Goblin Wolf Chariots will block out the sun. Yes. The Fireborn have had their AP damage ratio flipped in order to turn them into a more interesting unit for the Half roster. Okay, so base weapon damage is down to 13, but oh wow, so Fireborn are now like a more AP unit. This is a huge boon to High Elves. High Elves have always struggled against enemy elite cavalry because their Dragon Princes and Silver Helms just get dunked on because they don't have the AP to fight enemy cav. But now that Fireborn are like an AP unit, they did lose some BVL, but that I think that overall that's a buff. I like that. I think that's very, very good. And the Great Eagle got a cost reduction as well, which is cute. But yeah, Fireborn are going to be like auto take in a ton of matchups now. Like auto take. And this is a huge domination buff, right? By the way, this was like the weirdest thing. How did I miss this? Rangers getting Vanguard deployment. No, we were not scared. We've gone back. We might have missed a couple things, but Rangers getting Vanguard deployment, ladies and gentlemen, is freaking huge. See, Loopy, you're misunderstanding me. I don't mind if a Lance has AP, but I just think that Grail Knights could have used a little bit of tuning down. Yeah. So we got the Rangers with Vanguard deployment, which is great. I love that. That's a huge buff to High Elves. That's a huge buff. They're going to be able to get units on objectives way quicker now. Not that they're like an amazing unit, but still great. Now, this is something I was advocating for. Hopefully it's not too much. We'll see. All Khorne units now have 35% spell resist. Previously, Mortals had 15 and the Demons had 25. Magic is one of the strongest things in the entire game, okay? So the fact that Khorne can't play that game is tough, but now they get 35% resist, which is really, really good. Really, really good. I like this. Khorne is going to be really strong. Like Karanak plus like this buff alone is going to mitigate so much damage that Khorne generally takes. Hell yeah. Exalted Bloodthirster got a cost reduction. Demon Prince of Khorne got 300 gold off. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, they lost 25 gold. Man, if Khorne Chariots too are good. Gorby's Chariots got damage increases and a better bonus for his infantry. Chaos Knights of Khorne lost some stats, which is interesting. I didn't feel like they were like OP or anything. They lost 2 and okay, whatever. And did I miss something about Mark of Khorne? No, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, Marauder Horseman, though, I mean, overall, really, really good. Chaos Knights losing a little bit of stat line, which is weird. Skull Crusher's getting a buff, though. +2 melee attack and +2 MD. Fury's getting nerfed, definitely needed. Spawn of Khorne are 50 cheaper. And, yeah, overall, I mean, the Khorne is massively buffed. Because spell resist buff and then the Horseman buff. So Khorne is going to be an upper mid-tier faction, middle tier, not like S tier, but they'll be very good. And when they get a DLC, that could be very scary. I don't think Khorne Horsemen needed a cost decrease, but it's all good. All good. It's not the huge deal. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the dreaded unicorn in the room. The elephant, whatever. So, Things in the Woods, it's campaign. Griffin Legion getting a cost increase really, really was necessary. Could have even been more. They got +50. They're insanely good with their stupid Glorious Charge ability. Armored Kossars have lost 4 melee attack and lost missile damage. So hopefully all these little changes will be good. Yeah, this is cool. These are good changes. The Watchmen of the Night have lost some melee attack. Okay, so the Brawlers, the Streltsy Arwar is now like a blunderbuss. Okay, so instead of being like a handgunner, it's going to be like a blunderbuss unit. Costified Dervishes should cost 500 gold in my opinion. I think 25 is a little bit too little. Definitely too little. But I guess if you start adding all the cumulative cost increases for Kislev, maybe it's okay. But overall, I think they should have cost 500. Yeah, they're very, very good. The Elemental Eye, recruitment cost multiplayer. So this is the bear, I'm guessing. The Eye of Winter, or I think they're talking about the Frozen Heart of Winter. No, Elemental Eye. Huh. Oh yeah, Elemental Eye here. Yeah, they're I think they just mistyped it. They're trying to type Elemental Bear. So 1800, and the Frozen Heart of Winter getting a cost decrease. Little Grom lost 25 bonus versus large. Personally, I would just remove the bonus versus large from Little Grom. It did get its range nerfed, which is really good. So at least now cannons from Cathay, Empire, and Dwarves can beat them, or at least range them. And the reload time has been increased as well. I personally think they did a good job nerfing Kislev, but I think it might not be enough. I think you need to remove the BVL from Little Grom like completely. I don't know. Dervishes maybe a little bit more, and overall, yeah, we'll see. Kislev might, with some of the buffs other factions have gotten in tandem with like Kislev's nerfs, it might all bounce out. I'm always nervous about Kislev though, because like they've literally just been banned for the past like 4 months. You know, it's a shame. Lizardmen. So Gorok getting a cost reduction, Oxyotl as well. Krokgar and Grimlock getting more damage. 360 up to 400 is pretty nice. He's going to be a better fighter now for sure. And Saurus Old Blood getting a buff. Scar Veteran getting a cost reduction as well. And Skink Priest on the Stegodon getting a little bit of a buff there. No, base missile? No, actually he didn't. Okay, so the Scar Vets are all buffed damage-wise. The Skink Priest on the Stegodon gets base missile damage, but loses a shit ton of AP, but has been given an anti-large. Okay. Interesting. Skink Chief now is a... What? Why did the Skink Chief get a cost increase? What? So that must be a land battle thing. Skink Priest on the Stegodon. You can see some of the changes. Getting the missile bonus versus large. So the Skink Chief. This is really interesting. So the Skink Chief characters, if you put them on the Stegodon, they get an anti-large ranged attack now with 50 anti-large. That could be meta in a couple matchups, right? I mean, yeah, we see nerfs. They lost a ton of AP damage, but in some matchups where you're going against like Minotaurs or something, maybe it's better because you don't need the AP. Huh. Because 50 bonus versus large is a lot. Yeah. Okay, Skink Oracle getting a bit of a buff. Cohort of Hwaddle. Cost increase. Yeah, they should cost. They're really good. They're pretty much auto take. So I don't know how much they needed that, but it's okay. It's fine. Overall nerf to Stegodons for sure. So Feral Carnosaurs getting a damage increase, which is good. They were a little bit limp noodle in my opinion. The Troglodons getting a damage increase. Yeah, a lot of like the really bad monsters are getting increases. And look at this, the Dreadsaurian does get a cost increase, but he also gets +4 melee defense, 20 extra armor. Is apparently going to be more effective and enabled collision attacks as well. Okay, so yeah, Dreadsaurian. That's the feral one. It probably goes the same for all of them. Yeah, it does. Cool. All right, guys, I'm going to go grab my big water because I keep getting through this one. BRB. Some water. Oh, man. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So let's keep going. Yes, we're good. So next we got Wulfric. His base damage is buffed, and his armor piercing damage is massively buffed. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go, Wulfric. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Shredder of Lustria did get a cost decrease too, which is great. So yeah, Wulfric just getting buffs. Love to see it. You know, he should be a better duelist. So the Wulfric gets his butt kicked by a lot of weird characters. But these buffs are very, very nice. Yeah, Marauder Chieftain on the War Mammoth, getting armor, and so you'll notice this max entities, they've reduced the number of entities hit by splash attacks, but apparently it's a DPS buff, which is cool. Very, very cool indeed. The Skin Wolf Werekin, the Condom Wolves getting a cost reduction. Yeah, that's nice. They're very strong, regenerating. I mean, they could be very strong. They're just overcosted. So I'm excited to see if Werekins make a comeback. Brutes of the Hound losing. Okay, so the Brutes of the Hound, the Marauder ROR, loses melee defense, but they get 20 spell resist because they're Khorne. Famir getting 100 gold off is awesome. I love to see it. That's really, really cool. So we see the Famir getting a 100 gold reduction. That's fat. And the Famir great weapons are going to be, ooh, that's really nice into Bretonnia and these other Cav factions. 150 gold off the Famir great weapons. So that kind of makes an interesting choice. Like, do you want to use these instead of the Frost Trolls? Like, you don't have the healing, but your durability is way better, right? And also you're seeing a damage buff in tandem with this. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So going down here, we see the Mistwalkers getting all the buffs. Feral Mammoths getting a leadership buff. And Mammoths apparently had no missile resist, the feral ones, or the regular ones too. Big buffs to Mammoths, actually. We see the leadership, missile resist, armor, and splash attack changes to the Mammoths. All of them got that same one. And this is like, these are campaign units. We don't use those in multiplayer, so. All right. So now we're taking a look at old Nurgle. All right, so we're on the Plague Father now. Norska was not top 3 this last time around, Lich. It was the patch before that. Yeah, 15 missile resist is really good. The normal Famir got a fat AP buff. Yeah, they did. They got some nice buffs. Tamarkon getting a movement speed buff and a mass buff is great. That's a really good buff. I mean, Tammy's he's faster than the regular ogres now, right? Or at least the same speed. Aren't ogres 54 movement speed? So Tammy's going to be slightly faster. Yeah, overall, Norska's changes are great. I love it. Wolfric's stronger, Famir are better, Mammoths are buffed. All the cool shit that you want to see but never gets used got hit. It's really good. So Tamarkon getting a buff is cool. I love it. Kugath got a cost increase. This is probably more land battle, and land battle Kugath could be very impressive. But honestly, he's still going to be fine in Dom 2. I think it's good. So very cool. Exalted Great and Clean One probably is going to be more of a choice now. 100 gold off him is really nice, and he was already very good. So you'll probably see that. Demon Prince of Nurgle losing 100 gold. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle on the War Shrine is 300 cheaper. Okay. Interesting. So we see 300 off that. Off the War Shrine, Nurgle Shrine there, okay. Plague Ridden, which are almost never used, lost 150. You can see the Plague Ridden, which is the support Nurgle Demon Caster, he's gotten cost reductions across the board on all of his mount options. Furies are nerfed, again, very good. Spawner buffed, which is a great choice. Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, oh wow. Chaos Warriors of Nurgle were already pretty good. They were decent. And getting 25 gold off them is a big win. The Great Weapons lost 50 gold. Marauder Horsemen. Oh, man. So Chaos getting a reduction on their Warriors, Horsemen, Spawn. I mean, that's a lot. They did get nerfs to Chaos Knights, but like Chaos Knights, yeah, not huge nerfs. They're still going to be fine. Okay. I feel like Chaos is going to be very strong in this patch. Like a lot of the Chaos factions. Plague Ogres getting a melee attack debuff, but an MD buff. They're a little bit faster, and they lost a little bit of mass. Overall, we'll see. People don't really use Plague Ogres anyways, but yeah, we'll find out. Oh, hold up. Pox Riders of Nurgle. These are the Toad Riders getting a BVI increase, bonus first infantry of 5. And the Noxbringer, the Soul Grinder, yeah, they just changed its calibration distance and all that stuff. I'm not really sure how to articulate that too well. And the big ROR Giant got a cost reduction as well. Overall, the Nurgle changes are fine. Pestigors didn't get touched. Yeah, I like most of it. I'm trying to think what, like, the Warriors, did they really need a cost reduction? Maybe. Like, Marauder spam is kind of boring. It's way cooler to see the Warriors. Yeah, so probably. Because, like, the thing is, most Nurgle players just use Marauders and Pestigors. You don't really see the Warriors played too often, so it's kind of cool to see, like, them get a cost reduction. Yeah, Fury nerfs are good. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think it's fine. Nothing too crazy. Ogre Kingdom's got nothing. We previously disabled the ability for Ogre Infantry to get knocked down by heavier units, as the animation they must play to get back up off the floor was so long that it was causing severe balance issues. We have been able to re-author these animations in patch 5.1, so Ogre should now be able to be knocked down. Oh, man, okay. That's definitely a nerf to them. That's going to hurt the Ogres a little bit, but it's pretty niche. It's only against like big units that knock them over because they have really high mass, but yeah, this is, remember when Ogres were like super OP? This is one of the main reasons why. Because they couldn't be knocked over. Yeah. So it's a nerf, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. They'll probably still be fine. Skaven. Let's go. Let's get some Skaven buffs up in this hoe. Let's go. All right. Quick Head Taker. Cost reduction. Great. Tretch. Cost reduction. Great. Skaven Slaves. Cost reduce. Awesome. Skaven Slave Spheres. Cost reduce. Storm Vermin. Get 10 leadership? I think that you need to maybe give Storm Vermin a cost reduction too. Maybe. But 10 leadership's a shit ton. That's a lot. So Storm Vermin are going to be maybe more viable. I mean, 10 leadership is a big difference. That is a big difference. Storm Vermin Halberds getting a cost increase? What? Why? Oh, I guess 10 leadership. Okay. 10 leadership, 7 melee attack, 1 melee defense, more damage, and more damage. Okay, that makes sense. So Storm Vermin Halberds could be kind of decent, maybe. I don't know if 1050 is a shit ton of money. But, I mean, that's a lot of buffs. 10 leadership and melee attack and melee defense and damage on top of that? That's something. One sec here, guys. All right. So Council Guard getting the similar treatment. Cost increase in tandem with all these buffs. Gutter Runners getting a cost decrease is pretty big. Gutter Runners are extremely good. And now that they're down to 700, that's a big buff. The Poison variant also getting... The Poison variant, which is the one people love to use, is 75 gold cheaper. Wowza. 75 gold cheaper on that. Gutter Runner Slingers are cost reduced. Gutter Runners here are cost reduced. Rattling Guns are 50 cheaper. Poison and Mortars are 50 cheaper. Brood Horrors are 100 cheaper. Yeah, so I've got some... It's like super hot in here. I'm sweating balls. So I'm like... Some sweat dripped to my eye here. Yeah, overall, I'm very happy with these Skaven changes so far. A lot of buffs. Skaven definitely needed it too. Ruse 40K, thanks for becoming a channel member, dude. Welcome. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Let's go. And tomorrow, we're going to see all these changes in action. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. or 10:30 in the morning, my time, we're going to have a tourney. Hell Pit, losing base weapon damage, but getting a considerable AP increase and also a bonus for Sarge increase. Yeah, it's fine. Definitely fine. The Dwarf Thing Menace. Yeah, you can see collision attacks now for the Hell Pit Abomination, so that's big. Chariots had it, but a lot of SEs are getting it now, so I'm very, yeah. It's going to make big monsters tear apart infantry for sure. Yeah, collision attacks on the Hell Pit. Could be a problem, dude. Could be a problem. Doom players now have 8 models instead of 4. Oh, Doom player collision boxes have been optimized so that they should bump into each other less often. Okay, so... Obviously, their HP is going to be spread amongst those extra models, but their base weapon damage was taken down. But they're like the Goblin Wolf Chariots now. Interesting. Okay. Doom players don't have per swing damage required to support a reasonable level of performance on splash attacks. Okay, so they're talking about their reasoning here. Max entities hit by splash attack. So they don't have splash attack, but there's a shit ton of them. And I don't know. Maybe they'll be good. We need to test that. Skaven, I'm very happy. We have buffs to Storm Vermin. Cost reductions on their chaff. Their crappy lords have been buffed. Their items and costs. Queek also got his items, and his item buffed. It does 50% more damage. His armor's aura is bigger. I don't know, man. I'm a little hyped about this. I'm hyped for some Skaven action. That's going to be fun. Turin, could you check a bug? Would the Toe Dragon be able to swallow the elements? I don't know if it was. I hope it wasn't. That'd be hilarious. All right. So now we're going to go look. Slaanesh units. All Slaanesh units get Strider. Interesting. Okay. So that's the one that makes them not give us too much of a shit about terrain. Okay. That's pretty rad. There are a lot of domination maps that have a lot of terrain. So that's big, potentially, if it's what I think it is. Yippee. Was she made total... I have no idea what that is, but thank you for the donation. Greatly appreciate it, bud. Is that a game about like mice or something? Inkari getting a cost reduction. Keeper of Secrets getting a cost reduction. Demon Prince getting a cost reduction. Heralds getting chariot buffs, as we've seen across the entire patch. The Allurus is cost reduced too. That's the support caster demon character. All of her mounts have been cost reduced, as well as her chariot. The Cultists of Slaanesh and the Warshrine has had a massive cost reduction. Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh getting wait, whoa. Guys, check this out. Mike, thanks for being a member for 24. Community maps, you did it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, we did it. Only Demonettes are missing Striders. Okay, interesting. Striders, no terrain penalties. That's what I thought. Uphill, forest, yeah. So we have the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh getting a 50 gold decrease. That's freaking huge. They're not the Hellscourge Warriors, but that's like, I think you might see Slaanesh players start to lean into that, because Nurgle Warriors they got less off than these guys. That's a really good 800 gold for a high armored ITP unit. That's pretty good with physical resist 2 built in. The Hellscourges got a cost increase, which they probably deserved. They're a little bit too common. Forsaken getting a cost reduction, probably a good call. Chosen getting a cost increase? What? Oh, the Hellscourge Chosen. They did not need a cost increase, but that's fine. It's whatever. They just won't be used. Marauder Horseman getting a cost decrease. I don't know if we want to go back down that rabbit hole, decreasing Marauder Horseman, but yeah, I think they were fine how they were before. That's like my only gripe, I think. Hellstriders of Slaanesh. Physical damage resistance has gone down to 5, and their bonus versus large has been increased to 10. So these are the ones that were really OP for a long time. But yeah, they got a buff to their bonus versus large, which I think is a good thing, because they did get over nerfed, I think. But they also lost physical resist too. So I think it should kind of balance itself out. Yeah, Slaanesh Warrior is going to be very sticky for a multitude of reasons, I'm sure. So the Hellscourges have gotten a cost reduction, and the other ones did not. So these are the whip ones, and they did get the nerf to their physical resist. Chaos Chariots of Slaanesh have lost physical resist, but they're going to benefit from all the chariot buffs. Chaos Knights have been nerfed across the board. Who thought Chaos Knights were overpowered, by the way? Why are we seeing Chaos Knights getting nerfed? Are they OP in land battle or something? I have no idea. We've seen Chaos Knights nerfed across the board. It's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about. But they got a charge bonus increase. At least the Slaanesh one's got a big charge bonus increase. That definitely is good. Yeah, so we see basic sword and board Chaos Knights nerfed, and the lances are buffed. Yeah. Seekers of Slaanesh. Ooh, 100 gold off. Seekers were like borderline good. And now that they have 100 gold off them, Slaanesh is looking really good. Slaanesh looking juicy with this. Yeah, the cost reduction of the Warriors, Seekers being cheaper, Hellstriders now having 5 more anti-large. I'm seeing a lot of things on Slaanesh that's looking very, very good. So we got the Heartseekers here. 1,300 there. Eternal Entourage, the ROR getting a cost reduction, and we see all the chariot buffs here. So yeah, Fury nerf, Spawn cost reduction. Oh, check this out. Wow. Hold up, guys. Yeah, Slaanesh is looking kind of pimping. So we got the Fiends of Slaanesh. They got 16 models now, and no other. So they have 16 models. Their damage is staying the same as it was before. Sounds good, Sleepy. Thank you for that. I never felt like Chaos Knights were that bad, but that's because I never played factions that were weak to them, I think. But Fiends getting, wow, a huge buff. 16. Wow, they got a ton of HP. Look at that. They got like 1,700 extra HP, 4 more models, so their DPS is going to be increased by quite a bit. Wow, Fiends, dude, Slaanesh is going to be, as the kids would say, cooking. They have the anti-large Hellstrider buff, the reduced Chaos Warriors, reduced Marauder Horsemen. Man. Fiends and Chosen build, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. They're looking, Fiends are going to be a lot, that's huge. So Keeper of Secrets is at 1,700, and yeah, overall, I mean, Slaanesh was like kind of a mid-tier faction, but this is going to put them into the upper echelon if played correctly, for sure. That's a lot. All right, now we have the Empire. Elspeth definitely deserves a cost increase. I like that. That's going to make it, like, she's very strong, but she can be very cheesy, so that's good. Master Engineer definitely needed a cost increase too. He's a little bit cheesy as well. I'm very happy to see that. As much as I'm a Sigmarite heart, through and through, it's good to see. Master Engineer cost increase. The Steed cost increased. Did get a speed buff, though, on that. The horse is a little bit faster. Okay. Master Engineer on the Steam Tank is now 2,600. So, yeah. He's 2,600 here. That's good. And remember, guys, the Steam Tank was like one of the most busted things ever. The Master Engineer on the Steam Tank. But now he's 200 gold more expensive. And his pigeon bombs has been limited to only 3 charges. So no more is he going to be spamming infinite bombardments over the course of a long domination game. I'm happy to see it. Engineer cost increase. Yeah, Hawk and long rifles have had a reload increase. Knights of the Black Rose cost increase. They probably deserve that, to be honest. Yeah. Amethyst's campaign stuff. Landship. So Landship getting a 300 cost increase. It loses 2,000 HP. The Landship secondary weapons no longer have infinite ammo, which is a really good change. Yeah, so they've lost ammo, and they've had their base damage lowered. Yeah, overall great changes to the Landship. No, I don't think so. The steam tanks are really good, Sleepy. We're gonna have to see. That's some pretty heavy duty nerfs on the Landship. I don't know if it's enough yet. It's too hard. There's a lot of stuff here. It's hard to tell. We're gonna let the Landship feast today, and like if somebody tries to bring a Landship and 2 Landships in a steam tank now, that's gonna cost them like a lot of extra gold. And they've also been nerfed in terms of their damage output. So steam tank volley gun got a cost increase. I don't know if this. Maybe 300 is a lot, but maybe like 150 would have been enough on the volley gun one, but we'll find out. Now, overall Empire changes. I'm happy. They nerfed all the overpowered shit, which is good. I don't want my favorite faction to be OP. I want to be able to play and feel like I won fair and square. So that's good. Thanks, Rated. Appreciate it, man. So, Tomb Kings, Cetra, cost reduced. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go. He's cheaper on everything. All of his stuff. Chariot. Oh, by the way, guys. Are you guys ready for the chariot meta of the Tomb Kings? The Cetra on the chariot, the basic skeleton chariots. Chariots got buffed, right? Yeah. So I'm excited to see. This is going to be fun. Queen Khalida got a cost reduction, which I think Khalida was like borderline usable, so I'm happy to see her get a buff. And she's a lot cheaper too. She's 150 cheaper. That's good. Basic Tomb King is cheaper. Basically, all the Tomb King's characters on their mounts, the Necrotect is cheaper. Necropolis Knight's only 25. Yeah, all right. But, oh, wow, the Necropolis Knight's halberds, yeah, that was definitely warranted. They were way overpriced. So they got 125 gold off. That's good. I like this change a lot. They were like, I've always wanted to use them, but I'd see their price tag compared to like a Demi and be like, no, I can't do it. But that's a great change. Skeleton Archers getting a cost reduction. The Blessed Legion getting a cost reduction. Usirian's Legion, I think that's the ROR one. It's from Tomb Scorpions though. Spell resist, damage increase, contact effect, poison, and more damage. Hey, maybe Tomb Scorpions are up to a little something. Chef's kiss. Look at that. So overall, magic res is nice. Damage increase is pretty substantial on the base and AP, and they now have poison. What I think they should do with Scorpions is give them bonus versus infantry and bonus versus large. Because in tabletop, Tomb Scorpions have both killing blow and monstrous killing blow. Their whole thing is they're kind of good at both. But Harrison, I haven't had a chance to try the collision changes. So I can't give you any feedback on that till we see it in action. I have no idea. Hey, those are nice changes though. Ushabti getting plus, oh, that's big. +4 bonus. Ushabti were already decent. They were being used. But now we see a nice little buff on them. A +4. Camarine War Sphinx. Oh, collision attacks on the Camarine War. Yeah, all the SEs have basically gotten that, right? Like a lot, most of them, I think. Okay, so collision attacks on the War Sphinx. The Iroh Titan got a decent little damage buff. His Spirit Conduit now boosts spell mastery of the nearby casters of 20%. Okay. 2 Spirit Leeches and 3 Shem's Burning Gaze. Yeah, all right. And we see the Necrosphinxes and Sphinx here getting a damage buff as well, and now has collision attacks. Pretty fun, dude. I don't know, man. Dude, there's so much we can look at here in the patch notes, but we're not really going to know. Like, it's easy to be optimistic, but there could be some really busted shit we find out soon. Like, we could find out tomorrow that chariots are just obscenely broken, and they're like, we have to restrict them. I'm very optimistic, and these patch notes are amazing so far, but yeah, man, I'm a little nervous. All right. So Zinch, all the disc mounts have had a speed decrease, and a charge speed decrease. Okay, so a little slower. It's probably more land battle, just to, they're really quick and trying to give them some counterplay. Burning Chariot gets a cost increase. Kairos getting a cost increase. He's a little cheesy, you know, so it's always good to see that. Not so much anymore, though, in Dom. Maybe more in Land Battle. Demon Prince of Tzeentch got a cost reduction. We see the Chaos Sorcerer getting mount cost reductions on the War Shrine. We see the Cultist of Tzeentch getting a cost increase on the War Shrine. What? What? Oh, no, these are... Wait, so the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch on the Chaos War Shrine is 100 less. Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch on the War Shrine is more. Were they, like, undercosted or something, comparatively speaking? Maybe so. Iridescent Horror of Metal is cheaper. Cool to see. Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch getting the same treatment as Nurgle, 25 off. They didn't get the Slanesh treatment, going all the way down to 800, but I guess they felt they weren't as good as the Slanesh ones. We see the Halberds being cheaper for Tzeentch. Forsaken are cheaper. Sour Guts are more expensive. Makes sense. They're super meta. Very, very strong. Yeah, that's right. They buffed the War Shrines earlier. Yeah, they increased its buff by 5 times. Yes, thank you. Sorry, it's a lot of patch notes to keep track of. Okay, so clarification. The reason why the Tzeentch Shrines got a cost increase is because they massively buffed its aura. Yeah, sounds good. Blazing Squealers at 1350. Marauder Horsemen. Wait, the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch got a big cost increase. So the other Marauder Horsemen got a decrease, but the Tzeentch ones got an increase. And I can tell you exactly why that happened. Is because of the regenerating shield bullshit. So basically, in land battle, Tzeentch will often barely obey the attacking rules. They'll attack you with, like, 1 or 2 units while running away with everything else and healing the shields. So I get this, like, infinite healing. And players who have really good micro in land battle could abuse this very heavily. So the Tzeentch Marauder Horseman going up to 700, that is a huge, huge one, right? Oh no, that's only single player. Oh, okay. Shit, I didn't see the SP there. Okay. Okay, well, I think it could have even warranted it, to be honest. 600 is very cheap for these. Yeah, it's only a campaign. I think they could have used a little bit of a cost increase anyways. Yeah, it's SP only. That's so weird. Why would they do all the other ones and then just leave them? They're so cheap. 600 is a friggin' steal on those guys. Okay, well, that would have been my theory if they increased their cost. Chaos Knights, Sword and Board getting a nerf, their stat line. Lances getting a slight buff. Fury's nerf, spawn buffed. Flamers, ammo primary missile weapon, 90 to 110. Oh, shit. Okay, so that's basic Flamers of Tzeentch. And the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, by the way, they're already 750 in multiplayer, or 700. Yeah, something feels funny about that. It's kind of weird. I wish they had just separated the multiplayer and campaign patch notes. So Soul Grinder has been fixed, apparently. Reduce the penetration, reducing the amount of entities this unit can damage in a single shot. So just like the Medusa, it got falsely buffed in the previous patch. Yeah, Tzeentch Horsemen are 700. Thank you for checking. Perfect. So they're fine. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Tzeentch changes will be interesting. The cheaper warriors, I love to see it. Yeah, they'll still be great. Soul Grinders are bullshit, dude. That was awful. Excuse my language, but it was bad. All right, all hail the mighty. Now it's time for Vampire Coast. All Rotting Promethean and Rotting Leviathan units mounts. These units can now brace, which means their charge defense attributes will now work as intended. Oh, they couldn't brace before. Oh, so the crabs can now brace for impact. All right. So Luther Harkin on the Terrorgeist getting a decent little buff. He gets about 500 HP, a melee attack buff, a melee defense buff, damage buff. Oh, shit. Bonus first large on Luther Harkin. Let's go. So no longer a generalist. Now he has his bonus first large on the Goose. Oh, buddy. I think Luther might find a place if monsters become very meta with all their impact hits. Death Shrieks and Luther getting anti-large is pretty sweet, dude. Pretty sweet. Any conquest coverage? Oh yeah, I'm going to do tournaments for the land battle with capture points. Brace for impact, mateys. Yes. And the crabs can brace now too. Count Noctilus getting a melee defense buff, base weapon damage buff. Yeah, just damage buffs across the board, basically, and a little bit of MD. Cool. Celostra getting a cost increase. Probably to... Well, you can't... Oh my god, you can't unsummon your Lord anymore. God, that brings me so much joy. All those stupid Lord cheesers have to suffer like the rest of us now. It's time. Celostra here. Look at that. Armor-piercing weapon damage. Nice. Oh, so she's immune to flanking. Check this out. So you can't flank Celostra. She's too thick. And you get the collision attacks, which means the crabs obviously could do a lot more damage. Vampire Fleet Captain getting a cost reduction. Zombie Pyre deckhand mobs. Oh, this is a big buff. So the Vampire Coast core infantry unit, which is obviously very important in Dom, is down to 250 gold. A 50 gold cost reduction to Zombie Pyre deckhand mobs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's freaking go. Yeah. Cyrene's getting a buff. They needed it. This is huge, too. I mean, Cyrene's getting a stat line buff, 500 extra HP, more charge bonus, better AP damage. This is pretty hype, dude. So the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard, they no longer have charge defense against large, but they have expert charge defense. So Bloody Reavers now have charge against everything. Charge defense against everything. That's pretty cool. Yeah. The Black Spot, they reload faster. Deck Gunners got a little leadership buff. Shade Wraith Gunners cause terror and got some minor changes to their leadership. It's fine. Scurvy Dogs, hey, Scurvy Dogs getting a leadership buff too. They're going to crumble. You know, oh, this is big. So when Vampire Coast first came out, they had terror on Morngulls, and they were extremely good. But now Morngulls have 54 movement speed, so they got a big speed increase, and they all cause terror, dude. Okay, deckhand mob cost reductions, better Morngulls, better Cyrenes, more resilient Scurvy Dogs, anti-large Gooses. I don't know, man. Oh, that's hype. That's very, very hype. So the Night Terrors got similar stuff, and they also got spell resistance. Rotting Prometheans got a cost decrease and a stat line buff. Death Shrieks lost a little bit of HP, but they got stat line buffs, and they now have anti-large. That's pretty rad. Necrofex Colossus got some stat line buffs. Nothing crazy. Just little AP buffs here and there. Gallows Giant. Hopefully they fix the Gallows Giant so it actually like hits things properly. We'll have to see when the time comes. Rotting Leviathan gets 100 gold cost increase, but it gets a huge damage increase. Loster got this as well, so 280 to 360 is friggin' thick. Collision attacks and immune to flanking. Immune to flanking is actually pretty substantial. So if you're getting, hammered on the side by some anti-large cavalry, dude, that's pretty rad. That is pretty rad. Dude, I have no idea what to expect tomorrow, guys. I have no idea. I feel like it's just going to be the Wild West. Does CA have a team working on balancing now? So some of the developers, from what I understood, who are passionate about multiplayer, some of the folks that we've been working with to do like the Chaos Clashes, which are the new Everchosens, and those type of events, they care about multiplayer. Obviously, they probably got the green light to put a lot of time into it, I would imagine. Which is great. Carronade's getting a buff, a very minor one. And the Damned Questing Knights getting more AP. All right, cool, man. Dude, Vampire Coast is cooking, man. They're gonna be enjoying some nice sushi out there, man. It's looking good for them. Yeah, they're gonna be a lot better. 250 cost deckhand mobs, Morngulls causing terror. I mean, man, that's big. That's big. All right, Vampire counts. Count Chocula. The Von Karstein ring. Is this a campaign thing? I think they're talking about campaign. Remove, yeah, it's campaign. Okay. So Terrorgeist mounts have gotten a HP increase and a damage increase, which is cool. Zombie Dragons got a slight HP increase. Strigoi Ghoul King getting a little bit of a HP increase a cost increase. Oh, interesting. Strigoi Ghoul King getting a cost increase. That's weird. He wasn't like, was he really that good? Calibration is basically the accuracy of the projectile. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So Strigoi getting a cost increase there, whatever. Cairn Rate's getting 500. Yeah, so they get the Cyrene treatment. That's cool. 500 HP plus melee attack and MD buffs. I think Crypt Ghouls definitely needed a cost reduction. Black Knights, I love to see this. This is really nice. They were always kind of in a weird spot, but they get a charge bonus and +4 bonus for his infantry. Love to see it. Hexwraith's getting a buff. Chillgeist getting a buff. Direwolves getting a leadership increase like Vampire Coast. Vargeist getting 50 cost increase. I don't know if that was really necessary. But yeah, whatever. It's not a huge deal. The Vargulf, we have 85 and 105. And he got the immune to flanking trait. Interesting. He didn't get impact damage though, so only like the really big Chungus ground monsters get that. And the Terrorgeist gets a little bit of a damage buff here in the Black Coach. AP damage increase, and obviously it's a chariot, so it could be massively buffed. So yeah, Vampire changes are very tame. Very, very tame. But ethereal units getting a little bit. It's not as hype as like Vampire Coast, but yeah, it's all right. Can't complain, dude. Yeah, Chill Guy's getting a nice buff and all that. Yeah, nothing to be like super excited about there, but which SE's got a lot. We've gone over it. If you go back in the video, you'll see Tiho and everyone we've gone over. So Zazel getting a buff to physical resist, Sigvald losing a little bit of his res, whatever. It's not going to matter. Nobody tries to kill Sigvald anyways. Oh, Kolek buffs. It's Kolek in time. Base weapon damage 160. Oh, wow. Kolek got a big damage buff. His base damage up to 160 and his AP damage up to 440. And also his bonus hurts large is increased. And yeah, I don't know why. They should have given Kolek impact hits. He's like a huge behemoth, right? It's not a huge deal. It still buffs are better than nothing. Demon Prince, cost reductions, Chaos Sword on the Dragon. He got a reduction cost and his HP has been increased by about 400. Good changes. Yeah, I love the Chaos Sword on the Dragon. That's hype. And we got the War Shrines getting a decrease here and Sorcerer getting an increase on that, which is funky. Mirror Guard losing Fizz Res, Chaos Knights getting nerfed. Chariots getting buffed. Again, we have yet to see. Swords of Chaos getting a buff too, which is kind of cool. So their HP at least, but their stat line got nerfed, but they got more damage and also got more HP, so. Spawner cheaper. Dragon Ogre's got a charge bonus. And yeah, Warriors of Chaos didn't really get much love. Although, the fact that Furies were nerfed on other rosters maybe makes them a little bit more, you know. And if Chariots got buffed, like Chaos does have Gore Beasts and Chaos Chariots, so they could benefit from that a lot. Now, this is the one that I've been hearing nightmares about. This is what we're worried about here, you know. All right, so all Treemen and Ancient Treemen units now have a new ability called Ancient Protector. It's a passive aura that negates magic weapons. Oh, that's cool. So basically what you do is you put the Ancient Treemen near your like War Dancer, Dryads, Blade Singers, and it gets rid of the magic damage of the nearby enemies, making your units tankier. Okay. Orion getting buffs. Hell yeah, dude. He got a mass increase. Nothing too crazy, but I've always been a big Orion enjoyer. Sisters of Twilight getting HP. Ariel getting a cost reduction, probably warranted. She got nerfed a while back. Cheaper Cav. Forest Dragon is tankier. Glade Captain is cheaper. Now, this is the shit that's pretty bonkers, right? The Deepwood Scout Swift Shiver Shard. So Deepwood Scout's got a minor base damage buff, but an AP buff. So overall, like, this is fine, the Deepwood Scout, but this is what gets crunk. So Deepwood Scouts now have 180 range, and their calibration was increased, which means they're going to be more accurate. Yeah, so pretty freaking insane. Deepwood Scouts, Swift Shiver Shards do a hell of a lot of damage. And now that they're at 180 range, they're going to fire basically 2 arrows. I think every Wood Elf player is going to be spamming these things. I'm curious to see if they're actually OP. That's like the big hype right now, is that they're going to be OP, but we'll have to see when the action, happens tomorrow. Glade Guard have 90 entities instead of 80, so that's going to be a little bit of a damage. Yeah, it'll break about even with their damage nerf here. Way Watchers getting a cost reduction. Hey, that's cool. And a bit of an HP nerf. So they'll be more durable against being rode down with 600 extra HP, or cheaper, and they hit harder. What's not to love, dude? What's not to love? Hawkeyes of Jakira, same thing. Wild Riders losing 50 gold, and they get a speed increase and a charge bonus. That's good. This was one of the last things I remember, like a couple weeks ago. We were like, please buff Wild Riders. They're like, all right, we'll take a look at them. So we'll see. 1,000 is still pretty pricey, but yeah, I mean, with 90 speed and a charge bonus increase, I still think you could probably have them at 950, 975. But yeah. Did I miss something here? Oh, base weapon damage, armor piercing. Oh, Glade Guard they got a nerf to their melee. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. All right. Hey, you know what? Yeah, this is the best multiplayer patch we've ever gotten, for sure. Absolutely. This is like the most comprehensive. This is huge. Wild Hunter is going to benefit from the same changes that Wild Riders got. Sisters of Thorn. Great Stag Knights getting cost reduced. Hawk Riders getting cost reduced. Great Eagle getting cost reduced. Zotes getting cost reduced. Forest Dragon is stronger. Wood Elves are definitely going to be... I'm happy for our Wood Elf players. I am. Let them have their time in the sun for a couple months. We'll see. But man, yeah. Wild Riders got an AP boost too, right? Did they? Charge speed, Wild Riders here. No. Oh, I didn't notice this. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus actually got a base weapon damage debuff, but they got AP damage and more bonus versus large. So they got the same treatment that you see from a, what's it called? From the Dragon Prince's ROR for the High Elves. Okay. That's pretty cool. We'll see how strong it's going to be. You know, it's easy to draw conclusions, but you have to remember, Wood Elves got some pretty massive buffs, but you also saw a lot of factions get massive buffs. I suspect Wood Elves will be a top tier faction. I think they're going to be very strong, but I'm very excited to see, because we don't know how the Chariot thing's going to play out, the impact collision on the SEs. There's so much unknown. There's so much unknown. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun. Oh, these are comments here. Oh boy. Okay. And we've reached the bottom, which is very exciting. So we've done it, and yeah, man, very, very hype stuff. What else were really bad in land battle? Oh, got it. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, a lot of buffs across the board, man. You know, I love the reductions to the Warriors. Vampire Coast buffs look great. I love the Chaos Dwarf buffs. There's a lot of really, really good stuff in this patch. We got the maps added from Total Tavern. We have the new proper land battle with the capture point, which is great. Dude, this is a huge win. So big thanks to the CA guys for this. Is awesome, man. This is like my dream patch. We'll see. It could become a nightmare tomorrow if we discover any broken units, but for now I'm extremely optimistic. And a couple other things. We're going to be starting a new my favorite buff. Ooh, man. It's more nerfs. Like, I'm really happy they nerfed like a lot of the broken stuff. Yeah. This is definitely our best multiplayer patch, though. It's really good. So big shout out to the guys over at CA for, you know, showing that they do care about multiplayer. This is basically just a multiplayer patch, and there's some campaign stuff, but this is huge. So yeah, they added Total Tavern maps. We have a handful of them. There's like 5 or 6. No more Lord Unsummoning in domination mode, dude. Overall, just big wins, big wins. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this stream, please drop a like on the way out. It's going to be a shorter one tonight. Because we're just the patch isn't out yet, so I can't play yet. So I'm gonna go hang out, paint some Chaos Dwarves in the garage, and yeah. Again, big thank you to the 4 or 5 of you guys over at CA who care about multiplayer for making this happen. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and also to our awesome map makers, all of you map makers who've made these Total Tavern maps. That's a big achievement. We got like, as a community, we got them to add your maps to the base game. That's huge. That's really, really big. Dude, I'm super excited. It's going to be fun. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We already have a lot of people signed up. Yeah, I'll do a tier list video soon. Right now, it's too early to tell because I don't know how chariots are going to be. So, dude, these notes were, 2 hours to go over these patch notes, dude. It was wild. All right, folks. We'll see you around. Tomorrow's going to be a really, really fun event. I'm incredibly excited for that. So if you want, we're going to have that. And then probably the day after, we're going to have a land battle tournament with the new capture point mod. So I'm going to be going back to back with all that. So, and yes, of course, we also got to shout out the community feedback forums, because I think that's where they got a lot of these changes. They look pretty damn similar to the ones we submitted to them a couple of months ago too. So it's awesome, man. Yeah, because there's the CA forums. They do have a place where they submit feedback that UMIS manages. So shout out to that as well. Tomorrow's stream is at 10:30 a.m. in the morning for me, Pacific Standard Time. And then we have this coming weekend on Saturday, guys, we have another Chaos Clash. So we basically have another Everchosen this weekend on Saturday, which is going to be hype. And let's see what else we got. What else is on the docket? A new Total Tavern season. So we're resetting the leaderboard, resetting the season, and then we're going to have the Season 6 finals coming up. It's going to be a great couple months. Great. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. I appreciate you all. That was super fun. We'll be back soon, tomorrow morning. And, man, this is awesome, dude. Yeah, this is great. We did it. We did it, team. Cheers.